90s child, man. And I grew up watching Larry Allen play. Hate the Cowboys, you know what I'm saying? But, hate to see Larry Allen go. He was young. He was only 10 years older than me. He was 52. That's crazy. But hope everybody's having a good Monday, great Monday, all of that good stuff. It's still overcast over here in LA, so it feels weird. I feel like I'm sad. I feel melancholy a little bit, but I'm not though. Like I am happy. I'm not even tired. I slept like 8 hours last night, got a solid 8 in. You know what I mean? But the sun not being out, it kind of fucked with me. I'm not gonna even hold y'all. That's why I can't move nowhere. I'm real big on the weather. The weather fucks with my mood, so I can't live in them places where it be like snowy and rainy all the fucking time. That'll have me down. I'll be on here talking about whole different stuff. Yo, what up, villain? Yeah, San Francisco always got overcast. That's what I'm saying. Not always. I got more overcast days than we do, I would say. Tampa. Nah, then I gotta live in Florida. That's the there it go. Florida has the second best weather in the country, I think. Second best weather in the country. For me. I know y'all gonna say humidity and all that stuff, but I don't care about none of that. Long as it's hot, I could deal with it. Long as it's sunny most of the time. I'm in LA. Yeah. They say y'all talking about humidity. Nah, dude hasn't joined. So I invited a guy from my post. Or I invited a guy from one of my posts. He was talking some shit. So I invited him over. And let's see if he shows up. I don't think he will, but we'll see. But I'm here now. And I saw something today. I was gonna talk about something completely different, but then I saw this post and I was like, nah, I gotta talk about this. Puppy, do you have an indoor happy light? It helps with lack of sun seasonal effect. Oh, no, I don't. Interesting. I keep my room fairly dark. My upstairs, because my sons be having on every fucking light in the house, so I think I just end up turning off my lights in my room because everywhere else in my house is like super duper lit. Feel like I'm shopping at H&M. It's just well lit everywhere, and then I go in my room and I'm like, all right, let's get this shit down a little bit. Hurricane season horrendous this year, yeah. Don't worry, Liz. You don't got to. You already know you ain't got to convince me to move to Florida. You ain't got to tell me nothing about not moving to Florida. I will not be joining y'all down there. But much respect to y'all. Stay safe. Only doomsday preppers. They not doomsday preppers in Florida. Y'all got doomsdays every year. Y'all got a whole season full of doomsdays in Florida. So yeah, go on and get it packed up. But the crazy. Okay, so I had a whole different topic ready to talk about today. I had been talking about it for a few days. You know what I'm saying? Before I talked about this. What up, Lux? And then I came across this post, and I was like, man. Now, if you guys, we talked about this. Sorry, my voice is cracking. I got a lot of hoarseness going on. But you guys talk about we talked about couples therapy, the show, right? And I don't watch it, so I don't know everything about it, but I do. I can, from the clips I come across, sometimes it's really triggering, and not because it. Sometimes it's triggering because it makes me. It's like I'm like, oh shit, this is how I used to be. Right? Or this is how I can be at times even, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case may be. And this is very similar to me and my wife's situation, or whatever the case may be. And I think that's why a lot of people like the show. I'm sure that's why a lot of people like the show. But yeah, so I come across this clip and I'm like, this is interesting because this is it. Like this is, like this kind of sums it all up, and I talk about this a lot. So I'm going to show you guys the clip, or I'm going to let you guys hear the clip. I don't know why I turned off my speaker. I'm going to let you guys hear the clip, and then we can get into it. Very, very interesting.
One of my kind of very general diagnosis of the dynamic is that Eliana is sacked with too much authority over what's going on. What did you say?
Responsibility.
I'm actually going to use another word, authority, that is burdening her and putting you in a tough spot. I think you should try to take the reins more.
Maybe I'm not explaining myself well up in here, or I'm really like trying to allow him the grace and gratitude and latitude to say the things that he's feeling. So you may say that I'm being authoritative. It's not that. It's that when I do try to communicate, when I told him that I didn't want him staying at my house overnight because he was using me as a fucking doormat. How are you going to do this to me and my child? You can't do that to me.
No, I don't know how to put it to 1.5 times the speed. I would love to do it, but I don't know how to do it. So excuse it. I think I would hope we got enough patience to get through a 3-minute video.
It's my house.
But if I learn how to figure it, I'll do it.
I can say how I feel, because when you come here, it feels like a tidal wave. And now I'm left to pick up the pieces when you leave. But then...
Can I ask you, well, you're upset. What are you upset about right now? Now, here.
Because I don't want to be this way. But
you don't...
Controlling or authoritative.
Yeah.
I would like for you to see the issues and fucking deal with it. It's just embarrassing.
How so?
Because, like, I don't do things half-ass, and I feel like I'm doing this with someone who's doing everything half-assed. You don't think that, yo, my nigga, you go be for her right now and laugh, G?
Yeah. There's no way you...
She started crying and he started laughing, by the way. That's what happened right there. She started crying and he started laughing. He wasn't like, he was laughing out of like, you know, it wasn't like a real, like laughing at her crying. He was just laughing though, like she, as if what she was saying was that ridiculous, but it was still terrible for him to laugh. You know what I'm saying? In that space, like that was wild. Like that laughter was crazy, but yeah.
I think you put 100% effort into us. There's...
For her right now and laugh, G?
Yeah. There's no way you think you put 100% effort into us.
I'm not talking about you and I'm talking about our family as a whole.
You and I are a part of that equation.
Mitch,
you can't do
Mitch,
you can't
I can
do
count
this
on one hand, bro. How many times you've helped me with law?
You can't.
I can count on one hand how many times you show up for me.
Okay. So if
this shit is embarrassing.
So if I don't show up for you and you're embarrassed while you're here?
Because I want this shit to work.
So put in effort.
I do put in effort, bro.
No,
Are you fucking kidding me?
You don't.
I don't.
Hardly.
You're hardly. I down to your car getting inspected. Do I look out for you, bro? Down to making sure that you have laundry at when you do leave shit at my crib, I wash your fucking clothes. If I was a bitch, I would have left that shit out when I did laundry. It's just embarrassing. I don't do shit half-assed, and every time you show up, I get a phone call. Oh, was he actually helping me this time? Because niggas have seen you sit on your ass, chill on your phone while I am nursing and in a fucking meeting with law on my lap. That is exactly why I got written up at work. Because law was showing up at too many meetings. And where were you? Where were you? Chilling in a room taking a nap because you were fucking tired.
I work.
You work 40 hours like everybody else.
Stop.
I work. You work 40 hours just like everybody else. That was her response. Which is that not what I be saying all the time? Like motherfuckers be really trying to act like because they work, then that absolves them of all responsibilities in the home, which is a common theme amongst men. That's not me. I'm not projecting. I'm telling you that is a common theme amongst men. You work, you come home, you don't do much. You work, you come home, you don't do much. Laziness, right? Complacency, entitlement. You work, you come home, you don't do much. You hear what she's saying. She ain't mad at him because he's hitting her. He ain't knocking her head between the washer and dryer. He got a job. He got money. He got like all the things that y'all say that's what I need to be focused on. he doesn't seem like he has a problem with those things, gentlemen. To the fellas, he doesn't seem like he has a problem with those things that you guys like to tell me y'all focus so much on. That's not really the problem. The problem is he don't show up for her. He don't show up for the kid. So much so it started to affect her making money, which is also what I talk about often. How you extract like her financials, her having that child was actually affecting her money. She said she got written up at work because she had a kid on her. Now, when it's time for a promotion, who they gonna promote? The lady with the baby that she can't seem to shake? Seem like she not getting no help. When they need her to come through, they call her up on a random Thursday or to stay late. She ain't gonna be able to do it because she gotta go pick up her kid, or they gonna go with the next person.
You don't work. So stop saying like everybody else. You don't work.
Okay, if you don't think being with Law 7 days a week,
That's not what I'm
if you
saying.
don't think that that's work, you're bugging.
Stop. You
Like everybody else.
Stop. You don't work. So stop saying like everybody else. You don't work.
Okay, if you don't think being with Law 7 days a week,
That's not what I'm
if you
saying.
don't think that that's work, you're bugging.
Stop. You don't think working 40 hours is work. Stop.
I don't.
Stop. Okay.
Because when we
Then-
first met,
then that's the
how
disconnect we
many
have.
jobs did I have? I
That's
worked
the-
2 jobs and I went to school.
Comparing
Right,
again. When you're
something-
comparing, you're diminishing
Dog.
what I'm actually
Mitch
contributing.
and Eliana, stop. What's bothering you about these comparisons?
The comparisons aren't meant to make me better. They're meant to put me down. Even just
And that's that I don't ever tell a woman anything because she gonna use it against me. That's that same. I'm not saying it's a one-to-one, but it's that same shit. She was literally saying the reason why I get like you working 40 hours a week, you acting like I don't know where you're coming from. I used to do that too. And I had another job and I was going to school. All you do is work 40 hours a week. It's not to diminish you, it's just to let you know I know where you're coming from. You can't lie to me. You can't tell me I work. Okay, I work too. And I did more than you. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not, but but he's trying to make himself to be the victim now. She's attacking him by telling him the only thing I'll disagree with is when he said I work 40 hours a week, and then she said she basically said that's not work or something along those lines because she worked more. Like it's work. Like let's be honest, it's work, but everything else she said, I get why. And I'll even give her grace on that because she was mad in the moment. She was already upset. She was crying. This nigga done laughed in her face. You know what I'm saying? Like, like that's the shit I be saying. It's like y'all, like a lot of times men will take these scenarios, and if this therapist wasn't there, you think he would have handled it like this? Nah. When she said that shit, he would have turned up more. That was all that's all he was looking for was for an excuse to be like, oh, see, there you go, being disrespectful, you stupid B word, blah, 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 blah. It's crazy. It's really, I mean, it's not like I'm looking for validation or vindication in any of these scenarios. But I ain't gonna hold y'all. Even as sure as I am of these things, as many times as men get up here and lie to me and gaslight me, sometimes I do be down myself. Sometimes I do be like, okay, am I projecting? Is this just me? Is it just what I've seen? Is it just in my circle? Whatever the case may be, right? Even though I know numbers and all that stuff too. But like, I'm still like, man, maybe the numbers ain't. And then I keep coming across all this material, all these women that are saying the exact same thing. And then you get an actual like argument around these issues on camera. Now I can actually like see how it plays out, and I'm listening to it and I'm like, okay, this is exactly like I've been in that argument 1,000 times. Something like that. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Maybe not exactly that, but I've been in that type of argument 1,000 times. 1,000 times. Right? I've seen that argument 1,000 times. I've seen the aftermath of it, and I've seen it all. I've seen it all. And then when I talk to the men about it, I'm like, yo, that's the divide right there. The divide is you. The divide is this woman just said you're not contributing enough to this relationship. Right? She was talking about labor in the home. Talk about that often. Labor with the children. She talked about I wash your shit. She talked about the mental labor of how she helped him get his car out of da, right? Because that motherfucker didn't do it. She and then she then she talking about the emotional labor, right? So she's doing all of this labor in their relationship while doing labor outside of the home still, because she goes to school, she's a full-time student, so on and so forth, right? Or she worked 2 jobs before. All of these things, all of that, while all this man is doing is going to work. All he is doing is going to work. That's it. That's all. That was all I got from what he was doing. He don't got 3 jobs. He not going to school. He don't do nothing. He goes to work. She said he's in the room sleep while she's on a Zoom call with the baby attached to her. He's in the room sleep, and he said, "Cause I'm tired, cause I work." Right? That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't know. And at some point, I'm just in the spirit of Men's Mental Health Month. no tea, no shade. I'm hoping that men can understand that there's something off about us as a collective. There's something off about us. We're not all the way there. And by there, I mean we're not. This isn't human the way that we're acting. This isn't human. How he reacted to her crying and stuff like that, that was inhumane. That wasn't human. What human would do that? She was crying. He starts laughing. Like, that's inhumane. That's not right. That's not how humans get down. There's something off about men in general. And he ain't no, he ain't went to the military for 20 years and now he got PTSD and his brain is all scrambled. He is an average man. That man, from the outside looking in, seemed very much like an average man to me. Seemed very much like an average man to me. I could be wrong, but he seemed very much like an average man to me. Right? And he a part of what he was doing was he was putting all of his putting all of that responsibility on her because he doesn't value what she does. She's like, I have a child 24/7 and I go to school full time. But when he said, you don't work, because the only thing that men will recognize, and this isn't true, but the only thing a man will recognize, if he recognizes anything, is the labor you do outside of the home, right? But let's be honest, he won't even recognize that the majority of the time. Usually we don't recognize that. He said that she's not putting 100% into their relationship. She shouldn't. Not at this point. Why should she? You're not putting in 100%. Why does she need to put in 100% when you're not putting in 100%? And her 50% is probably still better than your right. Her 50% is probably still better than whatever you giving her right now. So why does she need to give 100 and you giving whatever the fuck you giving? Whatever you got to spare, you giving up spare change. You want her to give you a crispy $100 bill. You want it, as a matter of fact, you want her to give you your whole check, and you giving her whatever spare change you could scrounge about in the cushions of your couch, or you know what I'm saying, the shit you find in your car, the shit you find in your dryer after you wash your clothes and shit. That's what he giving her, and he talking about you ain't giving 100%. I mean, who does give 100% of the time in anything that they do? Pure gaslighting. You're not giving 100%. How could she lie? If she's being honest, of course she's gonna say, yeah, I'm not. I do sometimes I don't. You see what I'm saying? If she's being honest, that would be a reaction, because who the fuck gives 100% all the time? That's crazy. Nobody has the. That's a lot. 100% all the time. That's a lot. Right? Also, why is she giving 100% when she's seeing that you're not putting forth any effort? You see what I'm saying? So it's these scenarios. These scenarios are very much like they're a microcosm of a way larger problem, and that's why I don't mind talking about them in this regard. I don't mind starting with the relationship part of it because I think most men and women we could see it easier in our interactions. And this is the thing that I think most people, it benefits you or it hurts you in in real time. That's the thing you can see in real time. But when you extrapolate this shit to like politics and economics or whatever, you see the same things playing out over and over and over and over again on a larger scale, right? And I know it came from the top down, but I'm just saying, in your relationship, gentlemen, why do you think you don't value your woman's effort? Why do you think you devalue her work? The capitalists devalued her work. The patriarchs devalued her work way before you. The men who actually created this system, they already devalued her work a long time ago. They already told us that raising a child is that's nothing, that's par for the course. They already told us that being a stay-at-home mom is that's easy. That all you get to do is just sit around all day, whoop-de-doo, sweep something here, mop something there, whoop-de-doo. They already told us that. They told us that through advertising. They told us that through movies. They told us that through music. They told us that in our history books. Like they already. So by the time you get into your relationship, you don't, as a man, it's almost like you don't stand a chance if you don't fight this shit. Like if you don't combat it actively, if you don't clock it actively, then more than likely by the time you get into a relationship, or by the time you start to interact with women, it's already done. It's already done its work on you, and you're already fucked up, right? And then you're wondering why, they're reacting to you this way and that way, and so on and so forth. But you're already caught up. You're already in the cult. You're already, and it's not too late. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like, it's there. Like it's inside of you. Now you have to figure out a way to get it out. You have to figure out a way to get it out. But the first step is to stop acting like this shit isn't what's going on, because it is what's going on, and you don't have to feel alone. You don't have to feel like, oh, it's only me, because the same way women get online and compare notes, in the same way women used to, you guys call it gossip, but they used to come together and congregate and compare notes. Men need to compare notes too. And the way that I compare notes is when I see men going through the same things I'm going through, I go, okay, so it's not just me. And not to say it makes me feel better, but then it makes me go, okay, well, if it ain't just me, then why are there so many men going through this? And now I have to examine the system. And that's what I'm doing. So now I'm looking at it from a systemic problem, because I'm like, it's one thing to have like 5% of men going through this. Cool. If I'm in the 5% of men that's going through this, then hey, it's just me. Hey, you know what I'm saying? It's something going on with me. I got to check something. I'm in the 10th percentile. It's just me. I'm in the 90th percentile. I'm in the 90th percentile. You see what I'm saying? I'm in the 90th percentile. Like I'm with, or I should say the 50%, whatever you want to say. I'm average, right? Like I don't feel like I'm above average in a lot of these cases. In some cases I do. In some cases I'm below average in these things. But when you balance it out, I feel very much like the average man in a lot of these instances. When I watch these things play out, when I'm listening when I watch that video, like I said, I was him. I've been that guy. I've laughed. I've made insensitive remarks when my woman was pouring her heart out to me because I wasn't ready or willing to hear what she was saying at the time. And I felt like to maintain this power dynamic that I thought, that this perceived power dynamic that I had in my relationship, I had to be cold and distant. I believed all of that stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like I believed that stuff. I was there. Like don't I was there without a doubt. And it's easy to slip into that. If you have it in you, it's easy to slip in and out. You know what I'm saying? You have to actively fight that shit. You have to, like, I have to always be paying attention to that. Anytime when I'm having a conversation with my wife about certain issues, I have to listen to myself very carefully. I have to slow myself down a lot. I got to calm myself down a lot. I have to make sure that I'm not responding out of anger, or, you know what I mean, or anything like that. I have to make sure that everything I'm saying is like, okay, this is what's going on, right? And I have to listen to her intently so I can hear what she's saying, so I can process it, so I can make sure I'm not disregarding anything that she's saying and undermining anything she's saying, or belittling her, or whatever the case may be. I have to make her feel heard, but I also have to hear her. More importantly, making her feel heard, I have to actually hear her, right, and understand her. So in doing all of this, it is hard to do, right, for a person like me, because that muscle is very weak for me. It's an atrophy at this point. It's very, very weak. But you got to do it. But I never would have started to do that if I never took accountability for anything that I am or was doing. You feel me? Like, as long as I deny that, then the problem will never get corrected. The problem will never get addressed. Trying to like that gentleman at the end, trying to say stuff like, basically like, yeah, I don't feel like what you're saying is supposed to help me. I feel like it's tearing me down. That is projection, because that is what men do. Men very rarely say things like what she said to him, as far as, I had 3 jobs and yada, yada, yada. Men very rarely say that to build her up. When he said, I work, that was to minimize what she did. Because then what did he say right after that? You don't even work. So he was doing that. That was how she was just saying, yeah, I've worked, but you act like I never worked before. How you gonna try to play me? Not only did I work one job, I worked another job, and I went to school all at the same time while we had a child. So I'm not like, that should be easy for you. Like, as a man, sometimes you just gotta, like, calm the fuck down and realize what's happening. How often, if ever, gentlemen, how often, if ever, is your woman telling you stuff to tear you down? I'm very curious to see. Any man, please tell me, how often have you been in a relationship with a woman and you guys were in a discussion like that, and she was telling you stuff, and you felt like she was telling you just to tear you down or to manipulate you? Because I felt that before too. I've said that too. I've told you guys this 1,000 times. I used to feel like my wife was trying to, like, bash me when she would bring that stuff up. But what she really was doing was, she was just like, hey man, I'm just trying to point out to you that it's not a me thing. It's a you thing. You think that the issue is the dynamics between you and me. No, the issue is you. The issue is because you have this same issue or something just like it with your brother. You have this issue or something just like it with your cousin. You have this issue or something just like it. You had the same issue or something just like it with your ex. And I'm like, in the moment, it feels like, oh, you bringing up all this old shit. Why you bringing up old shit? Right? But fast forward, when after everything is all said and done, I'm like, damn, she right. And after a lot of those moments, a lot of those moments of me being like, damn, she's right, I was like, okay, so it's the, like, people say it like they care more about the tone than the message. That's bullshit. The only reason why you really care about the tone is when you're not ready to receive the message. And I definitely just wasn't ready to receive the message. That was all it was at the end of the day. Who cares if she whispers it to me, if she texts it to me, if she puts it in a fucking glass bottle, throws it into the ocean, and I receive it on a distant shore? It doesn't matter. Is it true or not? Is it accurate or not? If she yells it or whispers it, is it accurate or not? Shouldn't that be the number one most important thing? Because it's like at that point we're not giving anybody any grace to be a human. We're trying to tone police him. Like, it's like, what if you're upset? This shit is sensitive. It's a touchy subject. There's stuff going on. I feel a certain way about it. And then they're yelling. Like, I yell too. I have the right to yell. I can, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's not the healthiest thing to do, but shit, I'm human. I get mad. I get frustrated. I yell sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, but I would hate for my wife to be on some like, don't, you know, I mean, well, she will say like, don't yell at me or don't talk to me like that. Don't get me wrong. But oftentimes when I'm yelling, I'm not even right. I be loud and wrong. Keep it a bean. A lot of times when a person is, you know, a lot of times when you're yelling, for me at least, I won't say you guys, that's a projection. A lot of times when I'm yelling, I'm wrong. A lot of times when I'm yelling, I'm wrong. Right? So, I mean, fuck. Now we got to have an argument about the argument. Now we're up in here arguing about how I talk to you or how you talk to me and blah, 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 blah. But I'm going to say this shit because it's the funniest shit, but the shit applies so many times. But do they like niggas? We be trying to get to the issue. Let's get to the core. Yeah, I hear you, the tone policing. But am I right? But am I right or am I wrong? Is I right or is I wrong? That's what I want to know. Like, goddamn. Y'all, we out here. It's crazy. It's crazy. Even a calm, normal tone will be tone police when they don't want to hear it. Yeah. The monotone, you know, calm tone will come off as condescending. Don't patronize me. Don't talk to me like a child. I'm not. I'm just calm. Don't patronize me. Y'all gonna get mad because you're not ready to receive the message. It ain't the messenger. It ain't the packaging it came in. It's the motherfucking message. That's what you don't like. Like, so for me, I personally have gotten to a place where I will hear that people say this, you know, you guys have been in my life. I will listen to somebody call me the wildest shit. Like, I don't even care. Because if you got a point, you got a point. They don't be having a point. But I'm going to listen for the point. Let me listen for the point. What if they make a valid point and they're ranting and they're raving? I don't know. Maybe something will stick. But let me hear you out. The softer she said it, the more upset I got. Jesus Christ. We be wanting them to turn up so we can have a reason to turn up. We want to see them frazzled. We want to see them frustrated. And then we can blame it on that. Then we could blame the us not listening on how you talk to me. Men be ranting and raving about respect, talking about I want her to respect me. I don't like when women get all huffy and puffy in their chest and they da 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 da. My nigga, my guy. Can you hear? Just listen to what she's saying, though, fam. That's all I'm gonna ask you. Just listen to what she's saying. And we do this not only in our relationships. This is what I'm trying to help y'all understand. We just see it in our relationships the most because we have another person there that's going to push back the majority of the time, right? But I'm telling y'all that these dynamics play out at work, they play out in public, they play out in society, they play out in school, they play out on the political level. Appreciate that, Liz. They play out on that felt like Beyonce right there. I felt like Beyonce. They play out and they play out economically. They play out at work, right? From bosses to CEOs to da 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 da. Like the minimization of women's feelings, the minimization of the abuse, the minimization of the neglect that women suffer. Like that is at the core of the patriarchy. That's at the core of the patriarchy. That's at the core of the abuse. That's at the core of the oppression. That's one of the vehicles that they use to perpetuate the oppression. Is to minimize women's work and women's worth and their value and their contributions and so on and so forth. Hey, Mary.
Hi, public. It's my first time coming on here. I'm glad you accepted me.
No worries. I appreciate
I
you
just
coming
wanted
up.
to say, I just wanted to tell you, keep cooking, man. You keep on cooking, man. Stand in authority like you always do, man. And I said in a comment, you are you too much for some of these guys out here, man. Because you speak with common sense, man. Common sense thinking. And you speak like a grown man supposed to speak with knowledge and intelligence, and you're very intellectual. And I just wanted to tell you, just keep on cooking. You're doing a very, very good job. You're
Thank you.
doing a very, very good job, man. Keep doing what you're doing,
I will
you know.
try.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You're not gonna try. You're gonna keep doing it. Because I noticed I watched you before, and you got all these captions that's like plain and simple to read and understand, right? And I hear a lot of guys come on your platform and they say, "Oh, so what does your caption mean again?" I'm like, dude, come
It's right
on,
there.
like, what are you trying to say? And they come on there and they try to ask you questions when they ask to come on your platform to, have a conversation about the caption within itself. And I'm just gonna tell you, just somebody's lucky out there. Your wife, your girlfriend, or whoever else out there, your mom, your sister, brothers, they're very lucky to have you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got
they
it.
are.
We got to tell her that my wife. No, I was playing. My wife, she like me. She do. My
Yeah,
wife still
I'll
like
tell
me. I'll
her
be still asking her, do she like me all the time? She'd be like, "Yep." She told my son she had a crush on me the other day. So we
that.
still, yeah, we still rocking. We still
That's
rocking. That shit made
good.
me feel. Shit
That's
made me feel
good.
good. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say you're my spiritual family. You're my family.
I like that. Spiritual
Yeah,
family
yeah,
is
yeah,
cool.
yeah. You are my family. And I'm just gonna keep watching you whenever I can chime in on here. But I just want to tell you, give you your accolades, give you
I
your
appreciate that.
flowers when you can smell them.
Yep, I appreciate
So
that.
yeah, keep it up, brother. Keep
Th-
it up,
Thanks,
puppy.
Mary. I
Okay,
appreciate you.
you're welcome. Have a good day.
All right, you too.
Bye.
All right. Yeah, man. We got it. We gonna keep it. We gonna keep it going. We definitely gonna keep it going. I know this shit be tough. Is it Sissy?
Sai Sai.
Sai Sai. What's up, Sai Sai?
Yeah. I just wanted to come up because I have been, like what she said, I've been watching for a while, but as somebody who is a younger woman, I'm 20 years old, and I just broke up with my fiance,
Oh no.
and I just I just had a lot of realizations when it came to like men, especially from watching your platform, but I've realized that there is a idea for me as a woman. Like, I was raised to be a wife,
What do you mean?
and like I was raised to have certain like traits, and not look at men in a certain way, and not hold them accountable, kind of like expect less from them, and kind of
You
like
you think like so you were raised to coddle men essentially,
exactly.
and you think that is like the number one or one of, you know what I mean, like that's in the like the number one way to be raised to be a wife, to like be taught to like coddle men.
Absolutely not.
Oh no.
I don't think that that's the only way.
No, not the only way. Not the
Okay.
only way. I'm saying is that like because the reason why I'm asking is because I always find it interesting when women say I was raised to be a wife, and I'm like, what does that mean? But I think what you said right now is actually pretty interesting. Usually they say other stuff, but like I think that was interesting, saying like I was raised to coddle men and excuse a lot of bullshit from men, right? Because
Well, in my like in my mother and my grandmother's generation, being a wife means like ignoring stuff, like, because that is what wifehood is look like to them. So I don't wifehood could look different for everybody, but from like, I'm Caribbean, and my grandmother, she's 90, and she's still taking care of her husband, and he's like, he'll come home drunk and force himself on her, like, still. So she, and yeah, the whole family just doesn't say anything. I just connected back with them after 11 years and went there last year, and I just never went back because it opened my eyes to why I learned what I learned about men. And
what did you learn about men?
I learned that, it's not our fault. Like, I understand that maybe back in the day when, my grandmother probably didn't have as much opportunity as I did, but I have that. So going like through that by choice today is just disrespectful to her as a woman. So knowing that, I'm so much more like naggy, I guess you can say, like, to a man. I would be more
Naggy
naggy. Yeah, because like I'm like, I talk about it so much. I'm like, my grandmother went through that. You can't do that. So like to them, I'd be more naggy.
to them, yeah. I
Yes.
wouldn't call that naggy though. You just holding them accountable.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to like
I want you to use the right language because I think enough men say women are naggy and nagging, and I did a whole live on how I think that is a very misogynistic word when how it applies to women, how they try to apply it to women. But I would say
I
for you,
agree. I
yeah,
agree.
I would
I
just
just try to
say,
use the words that, would make men understand where I'm coming from.
yeah,
But I understand that you're not the typical man. So obviously you probably would question that, whereas like every other regular degler would probably be like, they understand what I'm trying to say
yeah,
because
yeah. No,
I'm
I got exactly
degrading
what you're
my.
trying to say. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm kind of like putting myself down and to sound annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just broke up with him. I recently terminated the pregnancy.
Oh,
So I'm still healing from that. I'm in women's diapers right now.
oh no.
Yeah, so I'm still going through that, and I just like I'm a
How
lot of
old was
my.
he? If you don't
He's
mind me asking.
22.
Okay, so you guys are relatively the same age, and
Yeah.
why did you end it?
Um,
What was like? Give me like the two biggest factors, if you can.
I just think that he himself is stuck in patriarchy. He
In what ways? Like, how did that play out?
I think his like requirements to taking care of people, especially in his family. Like, I believe that, when you're a son, your role is a son. Like, you shouldn't have to like be doing all these things for your parents. Like, so he's like living his life for his parents, and like yeah, it's cool, help with your parents when you can, but completely building your whole life around them because you don't want to disappoint them is wrong in my opinion. And he takes that role very seriously, as because he talks about, oh, I'm a man, I'm supposed to do this and this and this and that. And I'm like, okay, but I'm pregnant and you're not taking care of this family. You're just still trying to prove your worth to your stepdad because you have daddy issues, and you're trying to like take care of things that aren't your responsibility because you have trauma when it comes to your manhood. But you have a family over here that you need to take care of now, and you're not doing that. So I feel like he's still enmeshed. That's what it is. He has mother enmeshment. He doesn't know how to like say no to his mom and or his stepdad. Like, he doesn't have an identity outside of those relationships. And because of these roles, sorry, my daughter. These roles that he has with his masculinity, he feels like he's responsible for all these things that don't really, they aren't his responsibility. So
So he was neglecting you guys to and he was putting his his extended family before his like immediate family.
yeah, but the thing is that he like, it's crazy because he knows that it's wrong. I'm like, would you do that to your kids? He's like, no, I would never allow my kids to take care of me. So obviously he in some place in him feels like he doesn't like what he's doing because he wouldn't allow his kids to do it, but he's doing it. So I had to separate myself from him because I was a single mother before I dated him. So, you know, I'm fine with being alone. I'm fine with like not having a relationship, but well, I don't know. I just always like, I was sold the Disney fairy tale dream that a man will come and save me, or run off into the hills, and we'll live happily ever after. But that's not reality.
That white knight shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I've always thought would happen to me. I used to pray and cry every night, like waiting for that to happen to me. And in the beginning, it was fine, but
You got to save yourself though. That's what they. That's the.
Exactly, and that's just what it has to be. And it's very sad because I don't like, I'm not a fan of like terminating pregnancies like
You ain't
over
got
and
to
over
explain that
again.
to us. That's your business.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
just
judge.
sad because you just wish that things would, you wish that you could, there was something that you could do to help them really like clock in. And some of the men that you bring on the platform are just like him, and it's like, how do you do it? Like, how do you really help them see things? Like, I don't understand how you do it. Like,
There.
I see that you do it and you try to, but does it, do you think that they actually take this information and outside of their life and use it, or do you think they just come on here and troll and then run away and do the same thing again?
I think 99% of them do that, but the ones that get it. That's the the ones that get it. And whether they get it today or in 6 months from now or 2 years from now, a lot of them gonna remember these conversations. A lot of them is gonna remember these experiences that they had, and they gonna and when that shit hit the fan, they gonna be like, man, that motherfucker told. I remember I was on the live and they were saying exactly what this. They gonna it's gonna all come full circle for them. It's just gonna, if they want to grow or not. That's what it is. I just brought El Nino up though because he asked what is an average man. So I was gonna let you answer that. But you can go ask your question, El Nino. El Nino, sorry.
Okay. What? Well, yeah, you can say it like that. What I was saying is he was like for the typical male. I mean,
Typical
man.
male. Yeah.
And I'm like, what's the typical man? Only reason why I asked that for me is because like I understand the BS of men, and whether if it's from someone wealthy or not, or that they have less education or they educated, like is you have immature males, you have men that's matured up due to the fact of the experience that they have and whatever environment that's going on. So I just asked, like, what's the typical man?
That
Or
question for
I
me?
get that you're 20, so
Okay, I
I
think the
mean,
typical man is a man that he isn't satisfied with his life, but he's too afraid to say anything because he's abiding by the rules and the patriarchy, and he takes it out on other women. That's a typical man because no man, no human being likes to work every day and slave away. Nobody wants that. So when you're a man and you're lying about it and using your manhood as a crutch to like be angry when you could just be vulnerable and be like, I don't like doing this, and fix your fellow men to kind of fix the world so that everyone can be happy. Men don't want to do that. So that's a typical man. You, instead of being vulnerable, you just take it out on other people who are below you. So that's what most men do. It could be women, it could be children, anybody that is below them. They go out to the world, realize they don't have any power out there, and then they come home and assert authority over those who are below them because they feel so bothered by not having as much power as maybe their boss or the white man, or it could be
Whoever,
anybody.
yeah. Whoever it is. Yeah. I mean, I think that was. I think that's even better than what I was gonna say. The only thing I would add to it is the average man is the the way I would more add the context to it as far as like what it actually looks like is when you said that initially, you were just saying like he doesn't he when you made that statement to me, right, about nagging, you were saying like the average man would be like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying, like I get that because the average man thinks that women are nagging them by telling them or trying to
Yeah,
help
yeah,
them
yeah.
be better people. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll interpret that and say, "You're nagging me." That's what she was saying. El Nino. She was like, the average man is the man that'll be like, if like she's nagging, or if she were to say I'm nagging or nagging, they would be like, yeah, that's nagging or whatever. But in reality, it's not nagging, right? It's just them expressing themselves. Because you would never say that about a man. If a man was telling a woman how he felt or whatever, you would be like, man, he nagging her. You would be like, nah, brother, preach. So
nah, I don't. I don't take no man nagging as being cool
What you mean?
because for me it just like because if they want if the men of today want to say that they want to be leaders, leaders find a solution. They don't
Okay.
nag about it. They don't whine about it. They don't dwell in it to let it fester into to become an angry or what they want to say frustrated or
But what if the solution
some
is for the other person to be a better person? What if that's the only solution? So you got two solutions. You got two choices. Either if Sai is telling El Nino, "Hey, I need for you to do X, Y, and Z," right?
and you do X, Y, and Z.
Or you don't, and then she leaves. You see what I'm saying?
But that's the only choice you're gonna have. Either
Yeah.
is for this. It's like compromise. It's like some things you can compromise on, especially if they are expressing it. Like it anyway. Like I think somebody said for a tone, like we're talking about tone, like certain things you got to pay attention to the individual because if you talking cum law or anything and they still not listening, they ain't gonna listen if they're loud or anything or whether if you're crying. It's just that individual don't. I've put it like this in that those individuals don't have any type of soul bearing, no connection with that individual if they're not feeling or understanding what they're saying. Because if he, like, if say for instance, like if Sasa would come to me and say, for just complain about me working extra many hours and we ain't spending time together.
Addressing it. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
We
yeah,
gotta we gotta use the right words. She would be addressing it. She wouldn't be complaining about it. But go ahead, I got you.
I
Right?
get what you're saying, but I'm just saying, if I'm just saying, like, just using that term, like, if it's not complaining, it just if she bring up an issue that's concerning to her, then I'm gonna have to take heed to what she's saying and say, you know what, shoot, I am working a lot. I would say, hey, either I would say, let's work for me. Let me find a less stressful environment for his work. Something that so I can categorize whether or not say, hey, I want to spend time with you on the weekend. Well, let me find a job that work Monday through Friday so I can make time for that.
I think a lot of times when that happens, just to be, I want to tell you guys something. I think
Yes.
a lot of times when women say that men are working a lot or whatever, I think men have the time. I think that we don't make time when we do have the time.
No,
So
I'm
I
saying,
think, yeah,
and
but
I agree. I agree.
yeah, I think
But
that
I'm just
that
talking
I
about.
think that ultimately ends because you can do a lot in a little bit of time.
Oh yeah, you can.
You know what
But
I'm
my whole
saying?
thing is, I'm saying like I don't like you know how some women desire a lot more time than most.
That's what I mean. I think the average woman is okay with her man working, and if he has to work to make X amount, got to work X amount of hours. But I think generally speaking, if like if you work 50 hours a week, which is a lot to me because
Yeah.
40 hours a week is already a lot, but if you work 50 hours a week, right, which is 2 hours more a day, so instead of you working 9 to 5, you work 9 to 7, and you get off of work and you got to be to bed by 9:30 or whatever the case may be, 10 o'clock. I go to sleep pretty early, but let's say 10 o'clock or whatever, so you got 3 hours from the time you get drive home. I don't know, take 30 minutes to get, so you really got 2.5 hours. But if you're spending 2.5 hours or an hour and a half solid with your girl, I think that's good because most men, even when they don't work that much, don't spend that much time on average with their girl
No,
every day. You see what I'm
no,
saying?
they
So
don't.
so
No, they don't.
I think that is the largest disconnect. I don't think it's the like what I'm saying is that if she's bringing up that, oh, you work too much, yada yada yada, and then you go okay, let me quit my job. That's not going to necessarily fix the problem because what if you quit your job and then you
No,
still neglect her?
no,
You see what I'm
no.
saying? So I
That
would,
ain't.
and I think a lot of men, and to your point though, I do believe, I think a lot of men do what you're saying, I think a lot of men go. That's what they would hear in that scenario. They would go, "Okay, well, you just want me to work less. Okay, cool. Let me work less." And then you start working less,
No,
but the shit don't improve because you still not spending more time with
but
her, right?
indeed.
So it's
But I always
quality
say
over
this.
it's quantity over. I mean, it's quality over quantity, right? I
Like
think.
I'm gonna say this. Like for me, like I'm married, and for we I have 6 sons by my wife, and like I was driving trucks at the time, and I was an owner operator, not and I had a couple other trucks that some other people was running, which I could have gotten off, but I was at the time I was so conditioned from being in the military and then going to reserve and just driving over the road, and like I can come home and I can spend 7 days at the home,
Yeah.
or I might do 2 weeks, and then I may go back out for a week and then come home for a week, or I may take my kids and I might be out for 2 weeks, however it be. But my wife was like, you know what, I I ain't really feeling it.
Okay. In that scenario, I understand because you had an
Yeah,
extreme job, like leaving for
yeah. So
days and
like
days
so
and
like
days. Yeah, that's tough.
yeah. But for me, it was a lot of older heads that was out was like, man, shoot, my wife at the house, I got to get this money, and I'm like, man, my wife asking me to be home. I'm
Did
gonna
those
go ahead
older
and
heads also have 6 kids?
some of them did, but my whole thing is I feel like they didn't value family. Like for me, like my wife is my
Oh,
family, like that's my home. So it's like if she's asking something that's near and dear, I got to take to that, and it's like I have to understand. I had to understand that now I do because like hey, um, granted I had enough money to sustain to allow me to go back to school to a doge into cybersecurity, allowed me to just be able to work 3 days. So it's like now I'm able to have my trucks on the road, me work 3 days now. I have
look
more
at that.
time to spend with my kids,
Yeah.
teach them a little bit of cybersecurity, and we work on sports, and we do a little bit of the schooling, but I don't really have to do that because she got them straight. With they don't need anybody to work on that one with, unless they ask for it. But other than that, it's just more now. It's like I have more time to do with them. So now it's like I'm trying to be more strategic to figuring out activities through the day when I'm off.
Yeah, that's good. I think that I think that your scenario was extreme because
Yeah.
most people don't leave for that. You know what I mean? For that amount of time. But I do hear that just the work, like men working too much, and the women are like, yeah, what's going on? But like I said, I think the majority of the time it's not that the men work too much. I think that the majority of the time is that the men neglect. And when they
Yes,
do
they
have the
do.
opportunity to show up for the women and the kids, that we choose
They
not to.
don't.
That's the thing. Because I know motherfuckers that work 40 hours a week that don't show up for their kids. I know motherfuckers that don't got jobs that don't show up for their kids. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't that. Like I don't think it be the job, honestly. Because
No,
I
no, no, no.
think
I ain't saying it. I ain't saying it just be for a devil. And it's like when I'm just talking about for if just men in general, if they are, um, because I'm gonna call it complaining. I don't feel like they're addressing anything. They're complaining about whatever. Um,
who
if a woman's saying something, or if they job, if they have disgruntled, and my whole solution thing would be like, hey, if you having that, find a better job. I think you matter of fact, I think you had made a
prompt.
suggestion like that to a gentleman from his comment of like for us talking about how he was saying something that he make less than 6 figures, and your response was shoot, get a bigger bag.
What you
It
mean?
was a response to him was like to get her bigger bag. That's how I feel. Like I feel like
I
it's so
said that.
many. Like what she said. No, no, no. I'm saying like it's so much opportunities out here for men to be able to do that, but they neglect that as well as their ladies, their women, because they like for me, I take an offense for any male to want to just hang around other men, especially if they have a lady at the house. They choose not to want to spend time with her. So it's like when when I'm saying like for I was just taking on her what she was saying is that she get that her dude was working a lot. I don't know what type of job he was doing, whether if he was doing warehouse,
You talking about Sai?
yeah. I
He
would
wasn't
respond.
working
Yeah,
a
I was gonna say
lot.
I didn't get that from
You
her.
said
Go
he
ahead, Sai.
wasn't working.
No.
Okay, he did have a job like most
Yeah.
people do work, but like it wasn't the fact that he was working a lot, it was the fact that he wasn't prioritizing like us. Like he he was a stepfather to my daughter for like a long period of time.
Okay.
His relationship with her was great. He bought her nice things and wanted to do things with her, but he just never did anything with me. Like he just completely neglected our relationship. But it was my daughter, his family. But maybe he has some type of disdain for me as a woman, like someone that he is romantic with. I don't know what his thing was. Like I don't try to like I don't really try to get into why men do what they do. But
Well, I ain't never just said that, but prior to
yeah, so he was
you
just
already said that y'all already broke up. So even
yeah, he
before
was just
that, did
prior.
y'all?
It's very recent. It's like 2 weeks ago. So
Damn.
Okay,
so
cool. So with this one, did y'all even address the matter at hand?
absolutely, I
Of
have a
course.
big mouth. I like to talk. So
No,
I
I ain't
even
saying that you having a
I
big mouth.
Hold on, let her
it's
finish.
not
Let
it's
her
not a
finish.
bad thing. I do have a big mouth. I like to talk. Like I'm talking right now.
She advocates for
I
herself.
love to yap exactly. But
Okay.
I consider myself the leader of the relationship because I'm the one coming up with, hey, we should do this. Maybe we should do this. Getting new books for us to read as a couple. Maybe trying to sit down with each other, trying to figure out what the problem is. I consider myself the leader of that relationship. But he considered himself a leader just as a man, like not his character traits. None of
Yeah.
that mattered. It's the fact that I'm a man. I know what's right, and you don't know what's right because you're a woman. And but I was the one that was leading. I'm the one that paid for all the trips and made all the plans for the dates and stuff for us to do. He didn't do anything. So it's the fact that he completely erased my existence and the things that I added to the relationship to completely compensate for his manhood.
So there was a
But
disconnect. Yeah. That's it.
exactly.
That's a
Okay, now that's ooh.
Yeah, the neglect is real. The neglect is real, and the disconnect and the neglect often leads to a disconnect. So that's the thing. I mean, that's what I see commonly. Like what she described, that's like normal. You know what I mean? Like the men not doing anything outside of working a job and coming home, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it
Okay.
was.
Okay. Okay. So okay, that's what she meant for the typical man. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
and Romeo, I don't know about. I don't think I ever told somebody to get a bigger bag. I mean,
No, no, no,
maybe.
no, no, no. No,
But
listen,
I was
listen,
like,
listen.
wait,
No, no, no,
that
no.
been fucking with me for this whole time. I'm like, I
So
told
check
somebody to
it.
get a bigger bag. That don't even sound like me.
You told him because you said the what it was. I think he was up here. He was up here complaining about
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
like
can
I
see
think
that.
it was on
Yeah.
like for some
L-
like paying child support,
Yeah.
taking care of his
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
family.
Okay.
And you
Yeah, I
like
can see
shit,
that. Yeah.
get a bigger bag. Like
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll definitely tell you get a bigger bag. And
yeah.
if you
So
gonna sit up here
that's
and
what I was
complain
saying.
about I don't got no money because I gotta pay child support, nigga make more money then. What you want?
Yeah, well, that's what
Them
you
kids
said
need
right
to
there.
eat, fam. What is we
That what you
I would
said
think
right
that
there.
your kids
I just
motivate you to
I
make
just
more
don't be
money
saying
as
it.
well.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I was like, I don't be out here just telling people get to the back, like make a bigger
No,
bag.
no,
Like
no,
that
no,
isn't
no,
even
no.
my thing. But yeah, in
You
that
don't do that.
instance,
It was
absolutely,
coming.
I will tell a motherfucker get a go get that bag, boy. Like if that's your complaint, like
Right.
oh man, I gotta pay child support and da 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 da. And, oh, I'm left with I can't even go to the movies on the weekend. You better get a second job. You better
For
figure
sure.
out. You better start. You better look into forex, nigga. You better look into motherfucking Amway. You better turn into a personal trainer. You better do something. But you ain't about to sit here and come on here and start complaining about you not having enough money because you got to take care of them babies. That's crazy. Like I ain't never. I will never let somebody tell me that shit. Like I won't say never, but very. I mean, it would have to be a real rare experience. You know, like I got mental issues. I got healthy. Okay, I get you. But if you
For
able
sure.
body, nigga, you better go get that. You better go to college. You better go back to school. You better
And
go
too much information on you and too much information on YouTube
to
right
not
now.
do something. You better do so. Go get you a YouTube scholarship and I mean a diploma. Like you did cybersecurity. That shit you can go on Google. They got cybersecurity. They got all types of
For sure.
certificates you can get. 8-week courses, 12-week course. Do
Easy
something.
peasy.
Do
Easy
something.
peasy.
All I'm saying is do something. Don't be sitting here talking about I ain't got no money though. You got enough time to complain on TikTok about you not having enough money because you got to take care of them kids. I don't want to hear it, nigga. Turn the app off. That shit should be. If you complaining about money, but you got time to be on any of these social media apps, you should get fined. That shit should be a finable offense. That don't even make sense. What are you talking about? You complaining about money, nigga? You own the app. You own this app. What is you doing on this app, nigga? You go get some money. Like I don't. That shit don't. Yeah, I don't got no. That blow my mind every time. But I've heard a lot of men say stuff like that about their lives not having enough money, blah 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 blah. And I just be on some like, if you gonna really, if y'all want me to, let me get into my Kevin Samuels bag. I could definitely slide into my y'all want to get up here complaining about not making enough money, but it's rooted in you trying to use that as an excuse for how you treat the woman or how you treat these kids, and I'm gonna always tell you go get more money. I'm gonna always tell you go get more. Now, if you saying the shit's fucked up, the system is da 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 da, it's a struggle out here. No, I'm gonna fuck with you. Yeah, I feel you, my nigga. Man, I gotta work 50 hours a week just to make ends meet. Yep, that's fucked up. This system is terrible. Everybody getting raked over the coals. Blah 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 blah. I'm gonna say all of that. But as soon as you try to make that shit as the reason behind why you such a shitty person, absolutely the fuck not. And you ain't willing to listen. You don't want to hear none of this stuff about being a better person or none of that shit. We ain't having that conversation. You going straight to it's the money. Oh yeah, nah, nigga. Go on and sign up for some of them courses, fam. It's some out here for you. You can go get some money some way, somehow, legally too, right? Because I don't advocate for doing shit the fast way in that regard. But it's a way for you to get to that bread legally, fam. That shit is annoying.
Even those who man, listen. The biggest thing that I hear, and I live out here in Vegas.
Oh shit, you in Vegas? Okay.
Yeah, the biggest thing. Yeah, my wife, she from Cali. She from SoCal, Valley girl. Mm-hmm. But and she put me on some real stuff. Like out here, for me, I'm addicted to knowledge, and like I try to get in every anywhere for the table for that is talking about some stuff that can educate me on some things. And like one thing for us out here, where I hear these folk with some money, they speak on ways on how to save. Like I never learned about learning tax laws until you heard about them saying, man, go on there, you can read the tax laws. Telling the young these little white kids had to be about anywhere from 20, 25, tell them learn the laws now, especially if y'all want to go into business. And I just took that on myself to start reading, to understand it, saying I now see how they're on top of things. So just using that is like, shoot, man, I use all my kids now as teaching them for us, just working with me, paying them little side money so they can just make their earnings, so we keep up and track all the time for that. So only reason why I came up here, I mean, I see you invited me, but I did want to just go on to the top. So for us talking about the man's laziness.
Yes.
I definitely mother freaking agree about that. Just because I grew up, granted I had both parents, but I grew up with 7 brothers myself.
God damn.
And I had.
Why y'all be having so many kids, man? What the fuck going on?
But my mom and them had goddamn they had 12, but they had 13.
13 kids?
Yeah, and I was the 13th last one. I was the last one.
Man, that shit criminal, man. That's illegal.
Well, shoot, like my daddy come from his folk had 16, so
16.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. My like his older brother, 92.
Yeah, man.
But from all of that, but it was just watching them, seeing the whole thing for them just going up. But my brother and them, they extremely lazy. Like my mom goddamn was doing everything for them, so it was like, man. So now that I see that they married, like they work, but they ain't doing no house, nothing. And I hear their wife talking about it, and I be like, I don't tell nobody to leave out no situation, but I be like, man, just leave.
You be saying it under
Like,
your breath.
sometimes I
You
do.
be saying it when you get in the car to yourself.
Man, for real, I be like, what? I don't be want like I don't like you know how you go. I don't go over no people house. Well, I stay away. If it's like conjunction that go on, especially if I come over there and this family thing, I stay away. But the thing that I see for is, especially in black men, like a lot of black men be lazy, and I be trying to figure out like because I hear the women that come in here and they talk about that. I try to figure out like how do y'all not notice this prior? Like what is
uh,
like
how would they?
what is it? And I know
How
it's
would
gonna
they
be.
notice it? How would they notice it?
Man, look, I teach my oldest daughter is 23, and like for as me, I go ahead and tell her this, man, pay attention to whether or not if you having an apartment or a house, because these women these days are buying homes and buying land and stuff. So whatever they have, if that individual that is trying to court you
I
doesn't.
thought you had 6 sons. You got 6 sons. Or you got 6 kids.
No, I got 6 sons. I got 8 kids in general.
Oh man.
What in the world?
Oh man. That's
Yeah, hey
this shit
man.
crazy,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. I procreated, man. Hey, I love them.
Oh
Every
man.
last one of them well taken care of.
Oh man.
I'm trying to
Okay.
be.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
trying to be. I'm
you
trying to be like
pro,
you. I'm
your
trying to be
wife
like you, public. I'm
creates.
trying to
What
be
you
like
talking about? I
you.
got 2 babies, man. I'm done.
Exactly.
Oh shoot, I'm done now. But
You better be done, nigga. I'm gonna call them fucking
I'm
people
done
on you if
now.
you have another kid. That's crazy.
That is
I'm done now. But
insane.
shoot, hey man, look,
Hold
they
on.
good.
So basically you telling your daughter to vet better. I'm just saying, fam.
No, no, no,
You do
no.
know
I
men be
ain't telling the
masking though,
vet better.
right?
But
I'm
I'm
saying,
telling.
how she
I
supposed
tell
to
my
know? That's what
daughters.
I'm asking you.
But I tell my daughters, because my two oldest, they graduated, but I tell them, I say, pay attention to the words and pay attention to the actions. I say, um, one, don't ever try to bring nail mail to your home. Like my 23-year-old, she did get married. She went
Oh,
to the
nice.
Navy, and I told her, I said, listen, don't go in there and just think about getting married. But she waited till she turned 21, and I told her, I said, you look, if he makes you happy, and he brings out the best for you, I support it. But don't call. I said, do not call me unless it's getting to a physical altercation. I said, or you need advice on things if he's showing signs of aggression. Then we could talk about that. But I said, for as you have to learn communication between you and your husband. That's between you and y'all because y'all are now a nuclear family. Me and your mother do not matter no more. So we're not inside y'all home. So you have to learn how to communicate with him to fix it and support him as well as he needs to support you. But luckily, after 2 years, their little situation didn't go that way because my daughter didn't like him doing the race car things and stuff like that. How that hood junk. So I said I didn't know anything about it. So I said that's
Wait,
something that you
what?
don't like.
She was in the military and she married a hood nigga?
She's in, no she he's in the Navy as well.
Oh, he's still from the hood.
I was
Yeah.
about to
It's
say.
a lot of hood
Yeah.
niggas in the military. Most
Yeah,
of the
no, no,
niggas in the
no.
military is
It
hood
was like
niggas. It ain't
no,
well to
I
do.
ain't saying that, but he was doing something that like from Atlanta. And for me, from being from Atlanta, I told her, I say, listen, don't rock out with no young dude from Atlanta. And she go marry a dude from Atlanta. And I said, man, listen, I don't even know his background. He don't, and the little dude didn't operate like me. He's one of those Fast and Furious kind of type Tokyo Drift kind of guys. But that what he liked. But my daughter was like, nah, it just felt like unsafe. So I said, listen, you remove yourself out of the situation. Don't be toxic in the thing. So now she like, she miss him, and I was like, listen, you miss the nostalgia of him being around. I said because you didn't like the situation that you was in, so don't try to court yourself just being stuck into that. But he was lazy, and I said, and I know how Atlanta men is
Why you saying Atlanta men, man?
because I'm from Atlanta.
I
Like
know,
that's
but
what I
niggas is
see.
lazy all around the globe. It ain't just
I ain't
Atlanta,
saying. I'm
man.
just
How was he in the
listen.
military and he's lazy?
I'm
There's a
just
lot of
talking
lazy
about.
niggas in the military.
It's a lot of lazy folks
Yeah,
out here.
I would think that they were like,
Nah, man.
Nah, it's a lot of
Look,
people. It's a lot of
I'm
people
gonna
lazy
tell
in the
you what the
military.
military does from somebody who they have mental health issues. I ain't gonna drag them, but they one of the laziest people I've ever been around. Like they won't do anything for themselves. Like for years, wouldn't do anything for themselves. But they went to the military and they said before they went in, they said I need the military because the military is going to make me do the things that to survive. I can't do them outside of the military. So when you in the military, they wake your ass up at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock. They make you
No, they
work
don't
out.
wake you up.
Yeah, they do. When you in boot camp, what are you talking about? Absolutely, they wake
No,
you up.
in the boot camp they ain't wake you up. Listen. I was in the army. They don't
Okay.
wake you up.
What you
We had to
mean?
wake the other ones up. We could have left them folks in there to get in trouble. They listen. They
Okay.
gonna allow.
Okay.
They
Okay.
will
Yeah,
allow
yeah,
you to
yeah.
do.
I'm saying I got
Yeah.
you. I got you. I'm not saying like literally a drill sergeant comes in there and wakes you up. I'm saying that there are repercussions to you not waking up. To you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
Like dire ones. If you mess
Yes.
up on your thing, you could be you don't just get reprimanded like on some like you might get fired from the job because it ain't like that in the military. If you mess up on a post, you can get thrown. You can go to fucking jail. You leave your post type shit. You know what I'm saying? They could throw you in a brig. So I'm like, okay, it's different in the military,
Yes.
and they said they needed that to survive. But the crazy thing is once they got out, it wasn't like those they got a little bit of that, but they also got a bunch of other shit that fucked them up even more. They had a bunch of PTSD, blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And then, but they said though, yeah, in the military you don't got to think of. But same thing in prison. You institutionalized, right? You get 3 meals. You go, you know what I'm saying. You get a little leisure time, whatever. But you lock down. They let you out. There's a program. People in the real world sometimes they don't have that. They don't have the ability to create a program for themselves to be productive human beings. And so there's a lot of lazy motherfuckers in the military. There's structure, yeah. There's a lot of lazy motherfuckers in the military. A lot. I ain't saying most of them are anything like that, but definitely there's a lot of lazy people. When you don't have to think about anything for yourself, when you have to sign yourself up for anything, when you don't got to, you're just in there, you get food, that actually makes you lazier in a lot of ways because you become dependent on that system. Then you get out, now you got to cook for yourself. Now you got to, you know what I mean? Like, so you got to clean up with nobody standing over your shoulder with no repercussions. Who gonna tell you to clean up when you got to clean the mess hall? You got to clean the fucking brig. You got to clean the brig. You got to clean the deck. You got to do when you got to do all of that shit. Like I said, there are repercussions to that. When you at home, what are the repercussions?
None.
Nothing. I worked in the kitchen. I cooked. I served. I was not in the military. I'm saying I served food. I was a server. Sorry, never in the military. I was a server and I worked in the kitchen. When I came home, I didn't want to fucking cook or clean my kitchen. I was burnt the fuck out. I was like, man, fuck that shit. I don't want to do that shit. The
The
last thing
crazy
I
thing
wanted
is
to
too,
do.
that too. Even
The
in the
last.
military, they
You said
don't.
what?
Even in the military, they don't have the unless like the National Guard or the reservists, they have to clean up and stuff. But active, they have like some service people that they like. I guess those mostly be like the
Hey,
trustees,
sorry. Thanks for coming up.
like the program, which did that. But most certainly those who come out the military was lazy. I will say I was one of those individuals. For just coming out because I was like, you know what, shoot, I have my 100% on this earth. So I'm just gonna soak up on these little free thousands of dollars of what they give me every month. I'm just gonna just relax. Till my wife was like, nah, bro. If you be lazy, your son gonna be lazy.
Your son's gonna be lazy.
Well, we only had two.
Oh, okay. Your
So
sons
at that time
still
we only had
plural.
just four. I only had four. I just had my $2 and my son.
Yeah,
But I was
4
mostly like I was spending time with
kids.
my sons.
Yeah, a lot of kids,
My son.
sons. Yeah,
Yes,
because you said
my
my
son.
son, and I wanted to make sure we all knew that you had sons, because you got a lot of motherfucking kids, Romeo. I ain't gonna even hold you. Got a lot of kids. Y'all be throwing me with all these kids, man. Y'all, that shit
But
be.
listen,
I be
I'm
clutching
gonna
my
say
pearls
this.
every time.
I mean, shoot, my son, they raised. Well, my youngest one, he won. That's the last one.
How old are you now?
For me, I'm 38.
That ain't that bad. 38 ain't that bad. You good? Yeah, that ain't that
Shoot, I
bad.
started
You started
early, bro.
hunching at 16 though.
I had my first baby at 15.
15, yeah, figured. Yeah, you been having babies for too long. You didn't get a vasectomy after that first. Hey, if my son have a teen child, he getting a vasectomy.
You
He's
know
no
what?
he's no longer he cannot be trusted with that thing. Too bad, brother.
You know the crazy thing. Only thing that kind of got me out of a spanking. I hit my daddy with, "Hey, I beat you. You had yours at 13."
Oh my God, 13.
He couldn't even say nothing. He just laughed.
He laughed.
Yeah,
Oh man.
man. Shoot, man. Listen, my dad a Haitian. My mama Dominican. So it was fun little trip. So it was all good. She said, "How many baby mama?" Man, who? I only got one.
You been with your girl that long since you was 15?
Yeah, she was 18 at the time.
That's cool.
Yeah,
All right. Damn. So she just had your last baby at 41 or 40?
yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right, man. Damn. This shit got me
Matter of
depressed.
fact, yeah, yeah.
This a tough one. Y'all old, man. That lady. I don't know why I didn't do the math on that. I'm like, damn, she old.
You can go and drop one more.
One more?
You can go and drop one more. Not me.
Oh, me? Nah, I'm never
Yeah.
having no more babies. Never.
What you got? Two sons
I got
or
two
one of
sons.
them?
Two sons. We good. We good.
Now you need a baby girl.
Nah, I don't. Now I need to go wash my car and go to work at 2:00. I don't need no. I don't
What's
need no
the
more.
youngest?
My youngest is 8.
Okay, that's a cool guy.
Yeah, he
He
good.
be chill.
We good, man. Keep
But
your hands
shoot,
off that
man,
lady though.
man, keep doing your thing, bro. Keep
I
preaching
appreciate
on
you, Romeo.
these youngsters.
Yeah,
The
man.
old heads ain't gonna change.
Hey, don't say that. The old heads be changing, man. The old heads be changing too. The youngsters too. We all need to change. The old heads act like the youngsters, so we all getting
Oh,
it.
for
But
sure.
hey, TM wanted to say something. She said, TM, what you was saying, man? What you
Hey,
talking?
Public, how are
What's going
you?
on? I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, thanks for having me up. I think this is only my second time, but I watch you all the time,
Thank you.
and I appreciate what you have to share. No, I was like, I wasn't believing most of the things he was saying, but we're not going to talk about him. He's not here anymore.
Wait, why you didn't believe him? That's what I'm saying. Why you didn't believe what didn't you believe about what he was saying?
The last thing right now is like my girl was 18 and I was 15. Like, I don't know. Anyway,
What's wrong with that?
Hold up. Wait a minute.
What's
Yeah,
wrong?
my wife older than me. I never liked no young women.
yeah.
I mean, you never liked
No.
no women. You only liked your wife. She was a
No, I'm
girl when
just
y'all met. She
saying.
wasn't no woman.
I mean, for sure. For sure. I mean, hold on. Proud of my wife. I got down. Hey, I was lit. But
Well, you guys worked really hard. Congratulations on the big family. I love that.
I'm not calling out no 15 and 18-year-old dynamic. Y'all TikTok be really having y'all on that bullshit.
they try to
They
kill me
was in
to
high
my
school
baby
together.
girl.
Y'all better knock it off.
At that time, people weren't too much worrying about people's ages like that.
Yeah, y'all tripping.
For
Come on, y'all. Y'all wilding.
But shoot, I was 6'3" at 15. So hey, I already had
I
my
don't care
little
how
muscle.
big you was. I'm just saying. Was y'all not in high school together? Am I tripping?
Now
Let me say what
we
I
ain't go to
came
school
up here
together.
to say before you start going on
She was
your.
already out of school. I was
They
I
keep
was
saying
just
he was a victim. Girl, this shit crazy. They keep saying he was a victim. This shit wild. Y'all
I mean, he
crazy.
was.
Y'all
this
crazy.
they
Have
on
you
one.
recovered from all that? I hope you're okay.
He recovered. He recovered so
Oh
good.
yeah.
He been getting this woman pregnant for 30 years
Oh
straight. This
yeah.
shit
Shoot.
crazy.
Hey man, it's been
He
faithful.
made
That my
her. He made
partner.
her
That
pay
my player
back. That
partner,
was
man.
payback. Like, hey, girl, I'm gonna get you to have 15 of my kids.
Oh my God. That
No
man been
more.
pay-
No more. Hey, leave that brown spirit alone, but leave that. No
Wait,
more
hold on.
drinking.
You be getting drunk and coming in and hunching on that woman like that?
No, that was mostly like celebration things. Like we'll take trips, we'll go somewhere, and
Damn.
come back. She pregnant. Every
Okay.
time. I said no more. No more drinks.
All right, so I came up to talk about the prompt, like the men's laziness would destroy a relationship. I'm from Africa, and what that lady was talking about, I definitely see that as like the result of like coddling with like the mothers and everything. It's like men are so centered. And I truly believe that men cannot do certain things like cooking and all these other things that women are socialized to believe that's what we're good at. And I noticed that when I moved here to the US and I was living with my brother and his wife, they would drive back from DC together, and then he would warm up his food. And that bothered me. I was like, why is she not warming up their food? Because I was like so conditioned to thinking the wife has to like, warm up the men's food, serve him at all times. And I just like kept observing. I didn't say anything to her, but it definitely bothered me. I looked at her as like she's failing as a wife. And I can imagine like how many other women are socialized to think that men cannot do certain things by themselves. And I think they capitalize on that like they know we coddle them. So the weaponized incompetency, you call it that. But yeah, I think there's a lot of like laziness there, and then they capitalize on like the patriarchy and all the things that we're socialized to believe. But it's like I had to like what's the word, do a lot of deconstruction within myself to believe that all these like gender roles, like it's all made up, and it's all like meant to manipulate us into like doing more and over functioning. And that's like one of the reasons why I'm not married, because I know that with the way that I was raised to be a wife. I'm definitely going to over function in a relationship. I don't know what not to do. I don't know what men can do and women like it's still haze to me. There's still a lot of things that I'm like, if I see a man doing it, I'm cringing. I'm like, oh, I should be doing that. So if I'm like to get into a relationship, thinking that way, I'm definitely gonna overfunction and end up like resenting that man. I think that's what usually happens. Like you overfunction and you're doing way too much without even realizing, and you're just resentful. And then you grow apart from that person. You definitely stop loving them. So yeah, your platform has helped me to just like look at certain things and be like, oh yeah, like why can men do those things? They are capable human beings just like I am. And I'm doing a lot of like deconstruction. And I'm like, even if I'm to like show up in a relationship as a traditional woman, I want someone to be appreciative of that. You know what I mean? It's like I could do more and like prefer to cook for my family, but I want someone to appreciate that rather than demand it, rather than expect it.
Yeah.
And I would see that a lot with my relationships where I would do all those things, and in the beginning they appreciate it, and then at the end they're just like demanding that. The guy that I was dating, I would like cut up his steak, and whenever I didn't do it, he would like get mad at me.
Yeah. He didn't look at that
Yeah.
as like we were talking like we were talking earlier, like another live, and we were talking about like things that are like bare minimum, and then things that are like like you're going above and beyond. And cutting up a man's steak definitely would constitute as beyond the bare minimum. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like another, I think Kay was talking about how her man, like she would call and be like, she at the gas station, and he'd be like, "Don't pump the gas. I'm on the way," type shit. And I was like, that's above and beyond. Like like that's
Yeah.
not But my whole thing is what I say to people. I say that whatever you whatever you do in the beginning of the relationship, you got to maintain it throughout the relationship. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason why I would ever be oh, not to say like an expectation necessarily, but the only reason why I would be like understanding of that is like if if you were doing that before and then he started to take it for granted and then you stop doing it. You see what I'm saying? Then I
Right.
totally understand. Like, no, that makes a lot of sense. But
Yeah.
if the person is going into the relationship and that's something that they actually liked about you, and then you stop doing it once you get into the relationship, then that's what men do that type of shit all the time, right? They start
Yeah.
off the relationship and they be doing all the little things and the opening of the doors and the pulling out the chairs and doing all the proper etiquette and all that shit, and then now you're 3, 4, 5 years into the relationship, and now they walking 10, 20 feet ahead of you. They're not waiting for you to get into the restaurant before they sit down. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now it's like, hey, when did that? And if the woman leaves because of that, I would understand. I'll be like, yeah, you were not. That's what you were doing in the beginning. That's what I signed up for. I'm not getting that. Can I speak to your manager? You know what I'm saying? Because like, what the fuck is going on? I need
Yeah.
that back. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I wouldn't. I don't. I'm not saying that that person would be justified in being mad necessarily. Like, I wouldn't react like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? You didn't cut up my.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't react like that. But I definitely would be like, it would be something like I would ask you like, are we okay? You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
If that was something that I clocked, right? Because a lot of stuff naturally you just stop doing for one another, and it's not because you dislike. You know what I mean? Like, just the relationship changes.
yeah, it does.
You
Yeah,
know, you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So I don't always be on that like, I'm not that's not 100% applicable what I'm saying, but like there's things that my wife used to do for me in the beginning of our relationship that she doesn't necessarily do now. But though I liked it when she did it, I'm not even checking for that. It was like, oh, that was cool while it lasted, right? But then there's
Yeah.
certain things that my wife did in the beginning of the relationship that she's always done. And those are the things I'm like, oh, that matters. Like, I don't like that can't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need that. So it just depends, and you don't know when you kind of like don't know what those things are until you get into the relationship, until you start to develop the relationship more and more and more, and then you start to see like, oh, they do care about that, and then other things they don't really care about. My wife doesn't. I bought her flowers in the beginning. She told me eventually, she was like, yeah, I don't really fucking like flowers. Bet.
Yeah.
Guess what? Now I don't got to buy her. Not got to, but now I don't, because I always thought flowers were stupid anyway. But now I don't have to buy her flowers, and she's like, she just doesn't like flowers. She likes
Right.
plants. I'll buy her a plant. She likes that, but she don't like flowers. She's like, that's fucking stupid.
That makes sense. Yeah. It was like maybe it was like if he was like serving the food and he didn't do the same things that I was doing for him, that's when I'll be like, well, there's no reciprocation here.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, okay, so he expects me to do this, but he doesn't do that for me.
Yep.
It's like he just like takes his food, put it in his plate, and he sits down. And I'm like, what about my food? You know
Yep.
what I mean? But when I do it, I'm like setting the table and like all these other things and stuff. I'm like, the least you can do is like, put a plate for me. I don't expect you to set it up and like put a candle like I do. That's like some of like my little feminine touch that I do. But with him, it's like, he would just put the food for himself and then like just leave me to starve.
Yeah. That's
And
whack.
then I stopped cutting up the steak, obviously. It's like, oh, why do I gotta do that when he's not even like making sure that I eat and all those other things. But yeah, I get you on like if I do these things in the beginning, like, that's just who I am and I keep doing it and I'll do it for anybody. And that's not hard to maintain. But yeah, in the beginning, most of us are like, kind of like auditioning and stuff like that. Which it shouldn't be that way. It's something I'm learning also, that I don't have to be auditioning my wife material skills and all these other things. Um, Someone
Yeah. I
is
never,
saying,
I never bought into the wife materials. I don't know what the fuck that means, but
yeah, I'm not wife material. And I always tell my friends that I'm not wife material, because wife material means that, I gotta be, I can't talk back. I can't, there's like a lot of like expectations. In my culture, it's like if I'm wife material, I'm like, I'm not honoring myself in a lot of ways.
I think that not. I don't even. I know what you're saying. It's kind of like when we talk about like just the way that people co-opted words. So yeah, I agree, because a lot of times when the concept of wife material has been co-opted, and it means something completely different than what I think it means. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
partner
what?
material. Yes, I can say that I'm like I'll make a good partner, and I like have the resources and like the skills and like the compassion, the love and everything. It's like just trying to redefine myself. What do I want to be? I want to be a good partner material, not like wife material.
Yeah, just be a
I don't
good
know if that
person.
makes any sense. Yeah.
No, it does. Yeah, you're just being a good person. That's what I'm saying. If you're a good person, and you, to me, that's why that's a good wife, husband, whatever. That's good people material, partner material,
Yeah. And
however
I
you want
I
to say.
wanted to ask you a question. When you say that you would get mad when your wife was like trying to like point out some things
Hmm.
in the beginning, how do you think like some of those the ways that you were as a result of like your upbringing, patriarchy, and also how did you like start to realize and like see that she's making sense and want to change?
Um, I don't know. I mean, because she like never let up. That was like that's a big part of it. She just like never let up. It was always like it was all. She was consistent.
Hmm.
That was one part of it. Another part of it was I kept. Um, I had like a bunch of. I had a bunch. I started to see it play out in other relationships, like not just mine.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay, like like kind of like what happens up here, right? A lot of times we have these conversations, and I may talk to a man who is whatever we want to call an op or whatever the case may be, and other men see that, and some men go, oh wow, I don't want to be like that guy.
Hmm.
Like look at how it plays out. Like look at how stupid he looks right now. And then they see themselves in that exchange. They see who they are in that exchange when they talk to their girl, and they're like, "Oh, I'm the idiot in this." Usually when I'm talking to my girl, I'm like that idiot. But when you're in it,
Hmm.
it's hard to see yourself being that
Yeah,
person. You know what I'm saying?
that makes
So
sense. Yeah.
a lot of it for me was like that. Like I just started to see that a lot. I started to see like LJ said, yeah, that's what happened to him. Like you start to be like, wait, I'm the idiot. Like, damn, okay. And then you also see the results of when she is like, hey, I want you to do X, Y, and Z, and then you just do X, Y, and Z, and then you reap the benefits of her behavior changing and her treating you better and differently and so on and so forth. And you go, oh, so she wasn't lying. She wasn't just telling me to do X, Y, and Z so she can manipulate me. She really wanted me to do that because it was going to make things better for her and for us and for me or whatever the case may be. So I'm like, okay. And also, like just with maturity, you start to see the things that she's telling you to do are just things that would benefit you as a human being, not just her. So all of these
Hmm.
things play a big role, right? Me just growing up, me becoming more mature, me seeing myself in other men, other people too. I see myself in other women. I see women who represent me in the relation. I'm like, yeah, that I'm like, she's me in their relationship. Me and my wife say that all the time. Like when we
Totally.
like we'll be
Yeah.
talking about relationships, and I'll be like, he's you and she's me. You know what I mean? And she'll be like, yeah, or you're her and you're whatever. So I see it all the time. I see the dynamics play out and how they play out, and I'm like, okay, I don't like the way that it ended because a lot of times you could see how it ended for them, or you can see what they're going through, and you're like, all right, I don't want to go through that. So how do I change, or what do I need to change? And the whole time she come to find out, lo and behold, my wife was telling me how to change the whole entire time. She was giving me the blueprint the whole entire time. So I just started to
Hmm.
listen to her, and because she wasn't asking me to do things that would only benefit her, she was asking me to do things that would just make me a better person. You know what I
And you
mean? Like,
said she was consistent herself. So it's
oh,
like
super consistent.
she was just continuing to showing up how she was always showing up, regardless of
Mhm.
like you changing. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
No,
like
she changed.
staying
No, no,
true to
no.
herself, right?
No, she changed. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. She
Hmm.
changed, right? Because, like you said, if the thing wasn't being reciprocated, then she would, change her behavior.
Right.
But it wasn't. It wasn't like deliberate. It wasn't like she was like, "I'm gonna punish him," and it wasn't like a game. It was just that's a
Mm.
natural consequence, right? To somebody not giving you, pouring back into you. You kind of slow down the pouring into them, right? And so she
Yeah.
just, it became that. And she stopped being so like, because before she would be like, I'm gonna walk this idiot to the water. He just needs to drink. Now she's like, hey, there's water over there.
Right.
At
Yeah,
the
I like
most,
that.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, the water's over there. And I'm like, okay. Like, all right, you know what I mean? Like, now it's on me to go drink it, but now that's at the place. So I had to learn, like, to do more of the labor, and she and she started to expect more out of me the more the older I got, and the longer and the more we got into, especially with the kids. Her patience is shorter, and just, all of that type of stuff. It's just a lot of that is going on, and she just but she just kept giving me the right answers, if that makes sense. She just always had the right answer to the question, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, and the thing that I want to convey to men, and I'm gonna get to you, Navi, real quick. The thing that I want to convey to men is that, like, or ask men is like, if you believe that the person you're in a relationship with is not trying to, everything they say to you is not for your benefit, then why are you with them? And I only mean this to men because because if I ask that question to women, I know that women. I don't even want to. Y'all are different. Y'all ask yourselves. Y'all had that conversation amongst yourselves. Like, I ain't about to sit here and pass judgment on y'all. But and I don't want to. And I ain't gonna be the nigga. If and when women start to ask themselves that question, which I know women are asking themselves that question a lot more. You see women not being in relationships with men. You see what I'm saying? So I already know women are starting to ask that question for themselves. But to the men, if you are in a relationship with a woman, then why are you? If you're in a relationship with a woman, you believe that that woman doesn't have your best interest at heart? You truly believe that? And if you believe that, then why are you in a relationship with her? If you don't believe that, then why don't you listen to her?
Yeah,
You know what
that's
I'm
their
saying?
self-sabotage tendencies that they don't even realize. But yeah. Yeah, okay. The last thing that I'll say is that I ask these questions because it's like the chances of getting someone who has already like done the deconstruction, like checking their misogyny and all that are very low. So it's like when you might find someone who's willing to change and learn and grow with you. I'm just like trying to find the ways to identify when someone is like, willing
In
to
that
make
place.
the change.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When someone is worth the effort, don't raise a man, but also it's like we can grow together.
Yeah.
So
Nothing. It's
yeah,
a fine line between raising a man and growing together. And it's
yeah,
okay to grow
exactly.
together. But it's something completely different. To, like, I would say growing together is going to be an exchange. Like, he's going to have some things for you, and you're going to have some things for him. That's growing
Right.
together.
Yeah.
It's gonna raising a man feels like you're doing 90% of the labor, and he's not lifting the finger. That's when it's like I'm raising a man. That's what I
Yeah.
feel like, and you know what
Yeah.
that feels like. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Well, all right. I'm a big fan and I'm always a supporter. Thank you so much
Thanks,
for
TM.
being
I
here.
appreciate you.
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna drop to the comments.
Okay, go
All
ahead,
right.
Navi. Go ahead, Navi.
Hey, good. What is it? Afternoon, morning? I've
It's
been
morning
feeling
for me still.
morning. Oh, it's
Yeah, man. Hey,
afternoon for me.
we had 69,000 likes, man. What's up? What's good, y'all? Can we get up to 100,000? Let's
Get
get
the
up over
brother up to
100.
100.
Let's get up to 100,000 real quick. 442 people in here. And definitely bang that cash out one time for your boy. Let's keep the live alive. Go ahead, Navi.
What's going on? First, just want to tell the brothers before you come up into the public live, I need you guys to rehearse. I need you, I need y'all to have a meeting and rehearse because this last two lives was rough. Last two lives,
Brutal,
it
brutal
was
even.
rough. um, Man, I'm looking at the prompt. A man's laziness will destroy a relationship faster than almost anything. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. A lot of times we depend on a woman to take up the slack, and we think she's taking up the slack when she's basically doing most of the work. And that's the thing. Like, if you're in a relationship, you're supposed to be leaning on each other, not leaning on her. And a lot of times we make decisions thinking that, okay, I'm a fuck this up, and then she gonna fix it. It's like we're buying things we have no business buying. We're making moves we have no business making. We're on the jobs, you know what I'm saying, making bad decisions, and then you get laid off, and then instead of okay, you get laid off, you get fired. You're supposed to hit the ground running and find you another job quickly. No, we want to sit at home and mope in our shame and our anger and watch TV and play video games and shit like that because she has the job, right? So we're expecting, well, she got it. She gonna take care of it until I can finally get myself together, and that's just not how it's supposed to work. Because she's already insecure the moment that you come home and say that you lost your job. She's already in the state of panic because most women are used to men dropping the load on their shoulders and then turn around and tell her, I need you to submit. The laziness part is bad, because we tend to use society and everything else as an excuse as to why we can't work just as hard or harder than them. And it's crazy because like black women face the same type of racism and social injustices and bias in the workforce. Actually, a lot of times is worse than us. They are paid less than we are. Yet and still we want to put most of the financial responsibilities on their shoulders. It is absolutely. And then a lot of times, like, I've seen women forgive a dude for coming home with an outside baby before she forgive a dude for being lazy and not helping her take care of the family. Now she'll leave you quick, bro. Like, she's sitting there looking at you picking up the sticks. You spending hours on 2K, and she'll leave you. But then you come home. But if you somebody that's taking care of business and you come home with an outside baby, I've seen women do it, bro. Like, okay, he paying all the bills, he taking care of everything. I'm gonna let you slide with this one outside baby. But when you lazy, like, you don't want to help with the house, you don't want to help with cooking, you don't want to help with nothing. You don't want to help with the kids, you don't want to do nothing. You just, she gonna leave.
I think the laziness also comes into play even outside of like the labor, which we already know niggas be lazy when it comes to the labor, the chores and shit, right? But it's also the labor, like the mental labor that men don't, men be just late. Like in that video I played earlier, it was like she was like, I'm doing all of the stuff to make us better, not money and stuff, but in the relationship. I'm the one that's like, let's work on this, let's do that. What are you doing? And he's not doing anything. He's just sitting there judging her, talking about, you're not putting in 100%. You're not putting in 100%. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And men don't often, we don't often come to the women and have any solutions on how to correct the problems or the disconnect in our relationship. Right? The only time we want to have suggestions is when she has an issue with us. She brings it to us. Now we got all the solutions in the world. Now we brainstorming, right?
Yeah.
And usually we're doing that to deflect. It's not even like we're really coming up with real viable solutions. We're just coming up with shit to just shut her down. Like, why you want to do that? Why don't we do this? Well, no, I don't want to do that. I'd rather do this. Like, it's always that, right? But when everything is calm and quiet, right, and you could feel that something is off, and y'all not fighting every day and blah, blah, blah. It ain't that bad, but it's just, there's something going on, and maybe you just sense something in her, and maybe you don't gotta sense anything. Maybe you can go ask her. That's another thing we don't do. Hey, you all right? Doing those check-ins. Hey, you all right? We good? You need, I'm missing something or whatever. No, you good? You been real attentive and blah, blah. Okay, I just want to make sure, right? It's never that. We wait until she brings it up. We wait until she says she feels the type of way. Now we gotta have a conversation. Now it's, well, I worked 40 hours last week, and so look, this is what I'm saying. Maybe instead of me coming home and playing video games for 3 hours, I could do an hour on the video games, an hour cooking and cleaning, and an hour talking to you. Deal? Like, and yeah, that's a good solution, I guess. But where the fuck was that effort at before? Like, why did it take for her to get upset with you for you to do that? Like, and that's the thing. It's like we wait. We're always reacting. We're never being proactive. It's always a reaction. And then when we do react, it's not sustainable. Our actions that follow the reaction is not sustainable. So yeah, we do we've changed. We've changed for 2 days, for 2 weeks, for 3 months, for 2 years, Navi, for 2 years, whatever it is. Then we start. Now the new 2K come out.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're back to the old shit again.
Now we right back.
We don't respect a woman's input because we don't respect her humanity.
Yeah.
Her voice isn't heard until it's at the final, like when she's at her wit's end. She's standing in front of you, her hair's a mess, she's crying, snot running out of her nose, like old girl when she was screaming at Denzel Washington, I've been there too. That's when we want to be transparent. That's when we want to have this open conversation. But then again, a lot of times we don't even listen. When she's telling us a problem, we want to give her our surface level solutions, which most of the time the solution is for her to do all of the work and allow us to keep doing what we're doing. It's never really like, okay, you know what, I need to input more. We don't want to be proactive. We don't want to be proactive. We want to be reactive. So we wait until, like I said, she's at her wit's end where she's out the door, 1 foot out the door, and then you'd be like, oh, wait, hold on now, baby, don't go nowhere, baby,
Gina,
please.
Gina.
Baby, please, baby, please. Then we want to, get right. And like you said, we're not consistent with our change. We're not consistent. We pretend to change so that she can put that foot back in the door. And then once she gets a little comfortable, then we get back to the same old habits. And then we'll get on Pootie Tang's internet, come on one of your lives, and start complaining us about how we don't know why she was divorced. We don't know why she left us for another man. We don't understand why.
It goes both ways. The men, the women, or the part of the.
Exactly. We don't know, they just out here leaving men and leaving families and breaking families up. No, bro, like you broke the family up a few years ago when you let her handle all of the shit in the crib. Like I look at things like my family, I look at things like this. This is our house, these are our children, these are our bills. So when I come home, whether I come off from a book tour or something like that, and I come home, I'm not stepping over the toys, right? I'm gonna pick the toys up. I come into the kitchen, the sink is full of dirty dishes because my little heathens and filled the sink up with dishes. I'm washing the dishes.
Heavy on the heathens.
Huh?
Heavy on the heathens.
Yeah, like, or tell them to come in here and wash these dishes. Come in here and clean your room. You know what I'm saying? That when I pick them up from school, and it's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Don't leave your shoes right there, because I already know she come into the house and she see the shoes right there, in the doorway. She gonna have something to say. I don't want her to be stressed, right? You want her to come home. The house is supposed to be a fortress of solitude, not a place where she feels like, okay, I done did 8 to 9 hours of work over here. Now it's time for me to do another 6 hours here at the crib. If I'm home earlier than she is, start dinner.
Hey, coming home from work to do more work is wild.
It is. It's nasty work.
And we all got to do it, but it's just when you think about it, you be like, God damn.
Damn.
That
so
shit
it's like,
crazy.
I start dinner. You know what I'm saying? Like, ask the kids, what you want for dinner? I want this. Okay, let me start dinner because I want to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, when she get home, she might want to finish. Okay, but at least the rice is done, the mashed potatoes are done, the gravy is done, the greens are cooked, the cornbread is in the oven, and then you can finish everything else up because that's something that you want to do. But at the end of the day, it is our house. This is our family. So it makes sense for us to maintain it, to take the load off of her so that she don't feel like she's a
single mom.
A single mom,
a married single mom, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, like, because we spend our money, like, and then when I was younger, I did this. So it's not like, it took time for me to learn this, but it's kind of like, if the kids need clothes, buy clothes. Don't buy the new 2K.
Oh, yeah. I got a problem. Look, my problem don't be with my wife. I got a problem with, I be buying them stuff and she be like, they don't need it. Like my little niggas begging, my homie, my little baby begging for shoes. I'm like, I'm about to, and I just told her, I was like, I'm about to buy him some shoes, and she was like, let's just brainstorm. I'm like, buy this nigga some shoes. Like, what is we talking about here?
Probably you go through that too, bro. Like, I'll see something online and be like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get him that. He don't need nothing else. He don't need nothing else. And I was like, hold on now stop. Like, he can get him another pair of shoes. No, he don't need or especially with eating. Like, with eating, you be like, you don't need another pair. Yeah, he does. Yes, she does. That for me is just kind of like, I want for my children to have a better childhood than me. I want them to have more than I did, because my childhood was pretty traumatic. So, but but sometimes, yes, you got to reel you in, because fathers, involved fathers, sometimes we go overboard, especially for our little man and for our little daughters. I don't know if you had kids. I think you got 2 sons.
Yeah, I got 2 sons.
You got 2 sons.
Yeah.
Be yourself blessed, because a little girl, it's over. Your pockets is running like you.
I don't even be Dobby. That's the thing. My shit don't be money and all. I'm on some like for me personally. This ain't. I don't put this on nobody else. How I view money is, when I run out of money, I go make more money. You know what I'm saying? Like
True.
that's just how I get down because I can do that. A lot of people can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't put that on everybody. You know what I mean? Like
No,
I would
no.
never.
Me and you on the same boat.
I never would have said that to my mama growing up. Like, why you didn't move us out the hood? Like my mama was work. She was
Exactly.
she had to do what
That's
she had to
crazy.
do. I think that's fucked up to put that
It's
on
like,
everybody.
why weren't you rich? That's
Yeah,
stupid.
no, I would never do
But
that shit. But for
it,
me,
it,
if I got to get something, like I just be on some. But my wife be like, no, like absolutely not. And it's not a point of contention for us because it ain't that serious because these niggas don't ever go. I know she would never had him going without something. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
she just want to make
sometimes
sure.
we, as fathers, you love your sons, you love your kids so much, and you see them pair of J's, and you be like, man, them joints will look good. The hell on my son's feet, or
Oh yeah,
you
no,
see, yeah,
I ain't got that problem yet. I don't got
yeah.
it. Don't be like that. It's literally my boy's shoes was falling off his feet. Like they was falling off his
Ah,
feet. They was all fucked up.
I had that problem.
And I'm like, I
I ain't
need to
gonna
get
hold you.
him some shoes. He's complaining about his shoes slipping off of him because I only bought him like one or two pair of shoes for the whole school year. And she was
Oh
like,
no.
my wife was like, nope, he got another pair of shoes. And I was like, they slip off of his feet too. And she was like, we'll check it. This was last week. We ain't checked it. And his shoes still slipping off his feet. And I'm like, all right. So now if I just go buy him some shoes, I don't want to hear it. I gave it a week. It didn't. I'm gonna go buy him some shoes now because I ain't about to have my guy looking like that. But real quick, Navi,
No,
hold on,
I'll
hold on.
be excessive. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I sometimes I'll be excessive. I
I
ain't gonna
know it's
hold you.
easy. It's easy for us to fall in that trap. I know.
Yeah, I'll
But I'm
be
a
excessive.
see he dropped. I was gonna let that guy speak. Go ahead, Ali. He was taking along.
What's up,
Oh,
public?
you got a crazy echo still.
What in the world?
Yeah. I heard it when you first came up.
You did?
Yeah, that's why I muted you.
Can I just drop down and come back up?
Yeah,
I ain't got time.
absolutely.
Can I go real quick?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Bula.
Okay. So firstly, I wanted to say I think Sita did raise you, and I think the moment she stopped coddling you, you had the tools to grow together. And stop coddling just equals not nagging more, right? Like you said, we got to nag more to get them to realize that they're wrong. But I also wanted to say, was Sita raised by hippies? Because her name is a Hindu origin.
Yeah, she was raised in she was raised by Hari Krishna. She grew up right across the street from the temple in L.A. and her dad was like the CFO of the Hari Krishna.
Wow,
Yeah,
that is so interesting. I
yeah,
was like, how does a white girl have a Hindu name? But that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
She's
Sita is the feminine version of Rama, the creator of the universe.
yeah.
So,
She's heavy into that. When I met her, she was in college, and I went to her house which she lived. She had an apartment. And that was the only place I had ever been. But then she went to her dad's house, her old house, and I went to her house. It was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when I got there, and there was a dude walking around in a sari, like, and he was chanting, like out on the street. And I pulled up, and she was like, I called her, and I was like, hey, there's a dude like walking in front of your apartment, like talking to himself. And she like told me, she was like, no, he's chanting and da 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 da. And then she was like, just come inside, I'll explain it. And I was like, all right. And then I came inside, I got inside of her room, and like all on her walls and shit. You know how people have like, I had like posters of like Jordan and I had like boxes of like, when I bought like a dope pair of shoes, I would like put the box on my wall, and I had like,
she had
bag.
posters of the Hindu gods. She had
She had little cutouts of like Vishnu and
and
like
Ganesh, my favorite.
and Krishna, and like she had like scriptures from the Bhagavad Gita, and like, you know what I mean, like stuff like that in her room. And I walked in the room, and mind you, I'm like, I haven't even started to like deconstruct my Christianity. So when I walked into that, I was like, what is and she
You were
was
like,
like,
you're a demon worshiper.
no, not really. I just started like laughing. I fell out laughing at her. Like I was cracking up. And she was like, yeah, this is my old room. And she by that point she wasn't religious though. She was like, I don't even subscribe to any of this stuff. And this is just my old room from high school, and I ain't been in here. I just come back on the weekends every now and again or whatever. So I haven't changed it. And I was like, oh, cool. So her not being religious, and then within like the next 6 months from that point in time, like we moved in together and all this stuff, and then I started to deconstruct my religion. And yeah, so we ended up being cool. But yeah, if I didn't deconstruct my religion, I don't know how that would have worked, because she never would have been Christian ever.
Hey, Nopra said that you and her could easily start a cult.
Easily. She got all the. She know. I got the Christian. I know how to do it from the Christian angle, and she know how to do it from the Christian angle.
But now it makes sense because you'd be like, yeah, all religions are patriarchal. You'd be like, Hinduism. I'm like, why does he keep saying that? It's, okay, it makes sense now.
Yeah, I definitely was exposed to a lot of that stuff. It was crazy.
That's awesome, though. I think that makes sense. I feel connected to her now because we're both like, well, she's not Indian, but she got an Indian name.
She was raised a lot in Indian culture. Like she understands a lot about Indian culture, and all of her
That's
friends and
cool.
stuff like that. They all like her brother. My brother-in-law went to India. My father-in-law lived in India for a long time. You
I
know,
used to make fun of people like that. I'd be like, why you gotta go to India to have a spiritual experience? That's weird. But, you
it's
know,
hard. It's hard to have
it's
it in
good.
America when you white.
That's
It's hard for white people to have spiritual experiences in America. It is like
I think they
so.
probably go to India and see how like impoverished India is, and then they come back and they're like, oh, it's not too bad here.
No, no, my father-in-law was the opposite. I mean, he already knew what was up, but he hated society. He thought society was like really fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, I want to disconnect from this completely because this shit is so fucked up. And that's what led him to that. Because he grew up like middle class. He grew up kind of well. Like his dad was a freaking engineer for NASA growing up. You know what I mean?
Oh,
He went to the College of Chicago. Like he was like on that path, and then he was like, yeah, none of this. I don't agree with any of this stuff. I don't agree with this capitalism. I don't like the racism. I don't like this. Da da da. And then fell into he fell into that, and that's how he ended up there. So that's cool.
well, there's still a lot of colorism and
Oh yeah,
patriarchy and
oh yeah,
all
all of
that
that.
stuff. I have to tell you that in Hinduism, fun fact, before the British came to colonize India, Hinduism practiced burning the widow alive with her dead husband.
Interesting.
And then when India became colonized, the British,
They was like, that's too much.
they were like, that's too
They was
much,
like,
even for us.
we don't like these broads either, but you can't be burning them at the stake, fam.
Literally, they were like, yeah, your wife is going with you to the next life.
Damn.
So, yeah. And then because they were colonized like that, like a lot of Indian people, like really worship the West. They think the West like saved them and they want to like assimilate into it, which I think is BS.
Yeah, happens in all the cultures that get colonized, pretty much.
Yeah. Why when I made that joke about oh you worship demons, I just made that joke because you had a Christian raising,
Yeah,
and when I explained to people my religion,
yeah,
they
they
would
say
be
that. Yo,
like
no, for sure. That's how
they'd
you
be
feel.
like, "Oh, so you worship the devil?"
Yeah, no, that's really yeah
I
Christians are
hate that.
crazy. All religions are crazy, but
And
that
then the
religion
same
is
white
super.
people want to start yoga studios. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
But then let's go back to men being lazy. Okay. So a man's laziness will destroy the relationship, agreed. Or it's either going to destroy the relationship or the woman is going to keep telling the man to stop being lazy and to start contributing to the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom helped my dad go back to school. He was a taxi cab driver, typical Indian man, came here from India and started driving a taxi. And then he went back to school. All the men in his life were the biggest haters. They were like, don't go back. You're just going to make a fool of yourself. Look at you trying to be a doctor. He wasn't trying to be a doctor. He was just trying to be like a respiratory therapist. But they were just
Mm-hmm.
like going off on him. My mom is the one who supported him, went to work, kept it like, kept him going, like did everything so he could just study in his room. But now these days he's 60 and
Mm-hmm.
theoretically he can say like, oh yeah, women have been enslaved and it's all like unpaid labor that they've been doing for a millennia.
Mm-hmm.
But like theoretically, but in his relationship, he's still condescending and he still downplays her labor. And nowadays, I'm like way more on his head about it, and I'll just be like, "You're a sexist," and he'll just like get all remorseful and quiet and start thinking about his actions. So he's not as bad as the other Indian uncles, you
That's
know?
good.
Yeah,
There's growth.
yeah. There's a little growth there. I think because I'm his daughter, it holds him more accountable too.
I can see that.
Do Indian men leave their women upon achieving success the way black men do? Well, in our culture, divorce is a taboo. So you don't leave people like that. It's just like, it's such a cult. I wish we could do a live on the cult of marriage. I'd have a lot to say. But
We can't
honestly,
do a
no.
live on the cult of marriage.
Can we do it together? I would love to do that. I have a lot of thoughts. I feel like it enforces the gender binary and it enforces wife slave dynamics. And I think it keeps the heteronormativity going in the cycle in this world. But anyway, I just wanted to say all that. I'll let everyone else go. I just want to remind you guys, let's get the likes up to 100K. You know, I got to cosplay my mod duties. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the shares up. Everyone follow my page. I'm going to be uploading snippets of this live later on, especially the part where Public describes how he started realizing that he had to unpack his misogyny. I thought that was
Yeah.
very interesting, and I think that would make a great clip.
I
So
didn't even
yeah,
know. I didn't even know. I ain't gonna even hold you. I didn't even know that. I didn't know it was. I needed to unpack my misogyny. I think that's when the shit really changed for me. But that whole time, I was just trying. I was trying to solve all of these problems individually because I thought they weren't connected. So every time my wife would say something to me, I would be like, let me solve that problem. Then I would solve that problem. Then another problem would crop up. And then I would be like, okay, let me solve that problem. While I was trying to solve that problem, the old problem kind of became a problem again. And then I was, okay, so now let me scramble back and solve that problem. So it was kind of like playing whack-a-mole. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to like hit all the things, but I could never get them all or whatever. And then when I realized that, but I was already like working on, I knew that I needed to be different and I knew that I needed to grow. I just didn't know in what direction I needed to grow in, if that makes sense. Like I knew I needed the growth and I knew that I was coming up short, but I didn't understand. I didn't think about it from the aspect of like I didn't take like a holistic approach. It was like it was very individualistic. Like I was like, okay, I need to. It was very compartmentalized. Like she would be like, I need for you to help more with the kids, and I'll be like, bet I help more with the kids, and then she'd be like, I feel like we're not connected, and then I would be like, okay, let me. Well, what are you asking me for? Like, what do you? Oh, well, I'm asking for X, Y, and Z. Okay, cool. So now I'm doing X, Y, and Z, but while I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and while I'm still, helping out more with the kids, I was like not doing more like chores or whatever. And she'd be like, I need more chores. So I'm doing all this stuff, and then it started to feel like at a point I was like, oh, like you're nitpicking, you're nagging. That's when the net, because it's like, damn, what do you want me to do? I'm doing all of this shit. I'm juggling all of these balls or whatever. No diddy, and then and it wasn't until I started to realize that it was misogyny that was the thing that was tying all of these behaviors together. That was the thing that was tying all of them together.
yeah,
I
it was
finally
like it
fucking
was like
realized
a
that.
holistic viewpoint for you.
Yeah,
Like you put the puzzles together.
finally.
Sailor Goon is asking, Pub, how old were you when you started reaching these realizations?
41 and a half. No, I'm just playing.
6 months ago, everyone.
Yeah, nah. I would say as far as it looking as far as attacking it, as far as deconstructing my misogyny is concerned, like 3 years ago, I would say. And then it got kicked in a hyper gear like 2 years ago, I want to
Nice.
say. But like 3 years ago, I was like
You
already on some
know,
like,
for someone who
this shit
just
is stupid.
started unpacking his misogyny, you're really hard on everyone's husbands and boyfriends. Just say, you be like, oh, that's what he does.
Well, I don't. It's not a matter of. Well, I don't give a fuck. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't owe the husbands anything.
No, you don't.
You know what I'm saying? Like so, if I'm the same way, I would tell my like sister the story. Like run. Like when am I going? I got to protect this man because I used to like no run.
Yeah. I
Like get the fuck out
understand
of there.
because the probability, you're thinking of a probabilities thing. You are not necessarily looking at the nuances of the relationship. You're like, well, probability is that he's going to be, a POS and continue to do the things
Yeah.
he's doing instead
And
of learning to be better.
and I think it would be I think where the I am very patient with the men who are like, I get it, I'm fucked up. Of course, then like now let's
Yes.
talk. But the ones that are like lying about it, I don't have no patience for that shit.
Yeah.
Like, why am I gonna be like, oh, like, no, I understand, bro. I get you, bro. Yeah, just go come up here and lie on your wife for 2 hours. I used to do the same thing. Like, nah, that's fucking crazy. We not doing that shit. Like, that's wild.
Ever
And
since I realized that everything men say is a projection, I have like, oh, you're not the leaders, we are. It's literally the opposite. Everything's the opposite.
yeah,
Like,
99% of the time.
yep.
And a lot of that stuff, and a lot of that stuff that I see is like stuff that some of it is like stuff that I've done, or in the same vein. And some of the shit like I've never done before, I would never do. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody does everything exactly the same. But the thing that is consistent, or one of the things that's consistent, is that men, like, we go out of our way to not hear what women are saying. You know what I mean? Like, we go
Yeah.
out of our way. We literally like run and hide and like la 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 put and plug our ear holes and shit like that. Like, just not to hear what women are saying, because we know that if you hear what women like, it's almost impossible to listen to women say these things and then not walk away thinking like, oh, this applies to me, or some of this applies to me, or she's right, or somewhere along those lines, and now I have to change. So
Yeah.
you avoid hearing women altogether. That's why men be in a rush to not talk to
I
women,
agree.
get you off the phone. Not, you know what I'm saying? When you're having a conversation with your boyfriend or with your husband or whatever, he's like,
They be like,
"Can
let's not talk about it right now.
let's not talk about it right now, right?" Because they
I'm
don't.
not in the mindset. And it's
Yeah,
like, then I can never bring it up, you
then you
know?
can never bring it up, and we like that. A lot of that is the thing. And me personally, for whatever, I think the thing that when you were like what you just said, like as far as um like, in relation to how soon I've started to do this, it's like, but one thing is that like, when I get the sense from the man that he likes to abuse, then that's another because I never liked it. Like, I was just very, very ignorant to a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? Not an
Yeah.
excuse, but that's what it was. It wasn't an active thing in my mind. It wasn't like I was actively like, I don't like women. That was never my thing, right?
But to give you grace and to give men grace for once, like, it's a human reaction to get defensive, you
It
know?
is. It definitely
But
is.
for men, it's more probable because they feel they have been told a lie their whole life, you know? Like
Yeah.
they're better than us.
Yeah, it's not. It was like I never, when I heard it, I was never like, or when I was going through the stuff, I was never like, with my wife even, it was never conscious. It was never like, man, women are beneath me, or you should be in the kitchen cooking. Like, that conversation never happened between us. When she started talking to me about the things that I needed to do, the, you know what I'm saying? When after we had our first child or whatever, and she was like, I need for you, like, that was cool, whatever. You could get away with doing that before. You know what I'm saying? But now we got a kid, and now this shit is starting to really affect me. Cause now it's not, you know what I mean? It's hard now on me. And I was like, okay. I never said or felt consciously like, this is your role. This is what you're supposed to be. Like, I never felt like that. I never believed that. That was nothing that I was ever conscious of, but I was acting it out no matter what, no, conscious or not. I was acting the same way, and I think that, though, it not being a conscious thing, it not being something that I actually believed in, made it easier for me to let it go. And for me, you know what I'm saying? Because I never like bought into it actively. Like, I got baptized when I was 22 years old. I went and like really got back. I didn't get baptized when I was 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
made a conscious decision as an adult to get baptized. So I signed up for it. It was something completely different than a child being baptized and being indoctrinated. I sought the church out. I sought religion out. You know what I'm saying? But when it came to the cult of man, I didn't seek the cult of man out. I didn't go find them. I wasn't like, oh man, I need to sign up for this because as a man, this makes me feel good. Like, it wasn't like that for me. But for a lot of these men, it actually is like that. And it's harder to get through to those men. The men who just, we didn't know no better, we was just some fucking doofuses. you can convince them. And those are the men, if you pay attention, like for the most part, a lot of those are the men that like will get mad. They'll be the ones that'll come back and be like, hey, I just didn't see it. Like even LJ saying it now, like, hey, I just
Sean.
didn't Sean, yeah, I just didn't see it. Like, we're not actively being on some like women are beneath me. It's not like that. And those are the men who have the best chance of growing and changing. The men who like the oppression, the men who like to abuse the women, those are the men who I turn up on the most. When I sense that in them, I'm like, oh yeah, you sadistic. There's something wrong with you. Those are the men I actually turn up on sometimes because that shit is crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing that I'm
Yeah.
like, nah, I can't. To me, there's not enough. What grace?
Can I be real though? When I first started hearing your lives, I was like, oh, here's another man using feminism to get women. I
Yeah,
really thought that. And after a while, like the more I listened and the more I realized that you were also like unpacking your homophobia, unpacking your transphobia. Like you say you're a homophobic, but I think you're a recovering homophobic. I think that's a better way to state it. Um,
yeah. But those people,
so
even when you say you're recovering from something like an addiction or something, they like you're always an alcoholic. Like once you're an alcoholic, you're always an alcoholic. So I just say like I'm always like once again,
yeah.
I'm not actively participating in being homophobic. It's not a conscious thing of mine, but I definitely have reactions and stuff, and I'm like, oh, where the fuck did that come from? And I got to unpack it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's why I say I'm homophobic, but I'm not like actively out here on some like, yeah, the gays, man, what are they up to? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, I don't like love is love, and I'm on all that type of time, and we got to protect them and all of that stuff. But I definitely have those moments of like, what the fuck was that? Why did you have that reaction to that? You know what I'm saying? And they're few and far between now. Thank God. I will 100%. I'm so happy that it's like once in a blue moon, I'll just have like these little things crop up, and I'm like, okay, like I gotta, but I'm still checking it. Same thing with misogyny. It's like once in a blue moon, I have these like things with. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I gotta clock that. But if you're not paying attention, when you think that you beat it, when you think it's something like a game to be won, that shit starts coming back. And that's why I'm like always reminding myself, like, nah, I'm in recovery. Like I'm always, you know what I mean? Or not, you always have to be doing the work with misogyny, with the patriarchy, you have to constantly be putting in the effort because the day you stop for 5 minutes, you let your brain shut down and you forget that shit is the day that all of that shit can come rushing back. You know what I'm saying? Like that addiction can come
Yes.
back, and you got to fight it. Now you fell off the wagon. You got to get back on it, and I don't want to have those days. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I don't feel like I feel like if I have those days in my relationship, that could be the last day of my relationship too. That's another thing too. So it's like I don't want to. I can't afford it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because Sita is not coddling you anymore.
Yeah. I don't want her to. I'm happy
Yeah.
that she's not.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. It's been beneficial for
She
me.
made all this happen. She's the reason Club Pub exists a little bit, I
No,
think.
yeah, no, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. Man, there's no. I can't downplay any of the contributions that she makes and has made. And I would never. I can't do it. I can never do it. But the thing is, it's like even with that being said, I'm still like because I'm raising my sons too, right? So I'm not. What am I gonna tell my sons? Like, man, wait till you get a woman to unpack your misogyny. No, no, you got to do it beforehand. Like this is me, and this is hindsight. And hindsight's always 2020, like they say. For most people, I think hindsight ain't always 2020 for a lot of these motherfuckers. But anyways,
Yeah.
I,
Honestly, I love seeing your relationship with your kids because it's like healing to me to
mhm.
view you being so like loving and caring, hugging, just it just gets me all emotional and I'm just like, wow, like men can be caring, like men can be vulnerable and like yeah,
I know
now I'm
tons of
getting all
vulnerable.
emotional thinking about it.
No,
But
you're
I
good.
just go ahead.
No, no, no. I was just gonna say I know tons of emotional men, vulnerable men that are still shitty. Believe it or not,
Facts.
I know tons of emotional and vulnerable men who, be nice and then they'll turn around and still be on some like weird shit. So I won't say shitty, but they're better than most, but they're still fucking doing some wild shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say who it is, but I know personally, I
Yeah.
know some people, and I'm like,
I
he's way
mean,
he's way better than me in that regard. Like he's way softer and da 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 and gentler and more malleable than me in a lot of ways. But then he's like not doing any of the work. So
that's the nice guy trope.
mm, Yeah.
That's the nice guy trope. Oh, I'm soft, but I'm still gonna be
Be
narcissistic
a
and
dick. Yeah.
manipulative and try to get you to do what I want and
A
all
soft
that
dick is still
stuff.
a soft dick is still a dick. Right? A limp dick is still a dick at the end of the day. But yeah. Hey, I appreciate you, Bula.
Oh, real quick
Yes,
though,
ma'am.
I realized that I have internalized misogyny too because I get so triggered by the women in here sometimes that sometimes when I speak up, they don't want to hear me. They just want to hear you. And I find that odd because I'm a woman and I should be heard. And
Hey man,
I
who knows?
realize that I can't expect women to be amazing. I can't expect women to be healed, just like I can't expect men to be healed. So
Girl, if you don't ignore them folks, hell.
I'm sensitive and I'm not gonna lose that just because people are
Yeah, of
mean.
course, of course. We've had that conversation, but don't read the comments. You talk to public when you come up here. Don't read nothing that they say.
But
And
I
you
think I'm
drop
strong
down, don't
enough to
go
read the
back scrolling.
comments now.
That's good.
But
But
but I just want to say please follow Best of Club Pub. I'm gonna be posting snippets of this later and thank you so much for letting me up, public. Have
no
a good
problem.
day.
I appreciate you. Damn, we finally cracked 100,000, man. I didn't know if it was gonna happen. I didn't know if it was gonna happen. I guess y'all not entertained today. I I like it. I think it's been a very productive day. But hey, you know what? To each his own. I know why y'all here. Don't worry. I ain't gonna judge y'all. Go ahead, Allie.
Dang, I thought you was gonna go to the other guest first. Let me go
Nah,
to.
you was. I think you was first, but yeah, you just dropped and came back.
All right, let me go to my notes. First and foremost, that recording, that video, whatever you was playing at the start of the live was very, very triggering because that was my experience. That was my situation. Even like is down like right down to like the laughing. Because my ex would just laugh off stuff. If I brought up something and he didn't find it to be like worthy of a conversation, it's like almost like a scoff. Like, why are we talking about this? This is so minimal. But it's like when she was speaking, I could hear the pain and hurt as she was trying to like voice it. Because clearly she has said this multiple times before. And what I'm finding is when I hear conversations when men come up on your panel and they're talking about their woman, oh, she just want me to do this and I work and this, that, and the third. And it's like, she's not asking for much. She's not asking for much. I can understand if she was like, I need you to go make $1 million by tomorrow. I would understand why a nigga would be shaking in his boots. But to ask for participation in the home seems minimal to me. That seems like it's like a no-brainer. Like that's just something that you would do. And day in and day out, women do it without having to be asked, without having to be instructed, without having a to-do list, without it. Like we just do it, right? But what I wanted to kind of like just piggyback on between what you and the previous guests were already saying is like men's laziness and inability to participate in the domestic labor within their own home and the family that they decided to create teaches and trains women to be single mothers. And I think that's where the disdain and the anger comes from because, like, how dare you develop skills to basically take care of yourself and our children, our family alone? But you trained me to do this. Like, forget 90-day training, like, however long you're putting up with someone who is literally like, whether they're saying it vocally or just like indirectly, like just through their like body language that they don't want to participate, you're teaching the person who has to pick up the slack that I'm just gonna have to do it.
Yep.
Essentially that was my situation. Like after all the talking, the trying to figure out what's going on, if he had depression, do we need to go to counseling, maybe if I do more, maybe if I show up and just show him, if I write things down, all the things, right? He would get it, like the light bulb would turn on, and none of it worked. It's the laziness. And then when I found myself packing, right as I was moving out, that's when all the energy was coming. Let's just go to therapy. Oh, now you want to pay the $25 copay.
What?
$25. I was going by myself individual $20 a week, and I wasn't really working at the time. But then I had got the job that I have now, and I committed, like, I'm just going to go to therapy on my own. And in the midst of that, I had planned my escape. I got me my townhome that I'm living in right now, and I didn't have much. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not have much. I barely had money to get like furniture and stuff. But I was determined, if I'm gonna have to do this on my own, if I have to be like a single married mother or a single married mom, I'm gonna do that shit by myself. Cause ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Completely understand that.
And it's frustrating because women, we have this mindset of, let me just do whatever I gotta do to just make the shit just go. Like, you
Yeah.
know, like if I have to just tolerate having to do the laundry for the rest of the time of our lives, like, I'll do it. I'll do it. If I have to, cook and clean the dishes and, load the dishwasher, I'll do it. But don't you dare try to gaslight me when I bring it to your attention and say that I'm tired. I don't want to have no sex. We not bumping bodies. We not doing that because I've had to do tasks 1 through 20 by my damn self for the last 3 months. And I've told you over and over again that I need help. Don't you dare gaslight me and say that it's not important or I'm making a big deal about it. And I hear the women that come up on this panel, and it's like we're overexerting ourselves. We're doing what we got to do to make them feel like the quote unquote king. Make sure food is hot when they come through the door after they've worked their 23 hours of work. Making sure that, they got clean clothes to wear, fresh drawers. They don't ever have to worry about. The kids are taken care of. Not only are they taken care of, like, physically wise, but like I said this in another live, like the mental labor of even having to raise children is so vast. People who don't have children would never understand, because it's not making sure that they're fed, that they take baths, that they brush their teeth, and that they go to school, and that they're that their hair is done, like you're grooming them and stuff. Is way more than that. You got to make sure that they're learning according to where they are in age, making sure that they are developmentally growing as well, making sure they're going to the right schools, making sure that they're comfortable, that they can speak up for themselves in case something should happen to them. All of that stuff is factored into already what we have to do for the household. So when someone's coming to you and saying, I feel overwhelmed, I need your participation, I need help, and you scoff at them, it is literally like a slap in the face.
Yep. Shit hurts. There's nobody's pouring into you, and you're doing all that labor, and then you bring it up, and then they just swat it down or whatever the case may be. Yeah, and it's easy to feel. It's easy to feel crazy. It's easy to feel like it's me. It's not. You know what I mean? Like, and all that stuff. But the day you realize that it's not you, it's them, and all of that, and then you want to leave. Now all of a sudden they want to,
It's all
grovel.
the energy. It's all the smoke. Like, I'll never forget that. Like, when I got all my stuff and I moved it over here, and I sat here, I thought to myself before I moved over here that I was going to just break down and cry and just have my wait until you exhale moment over here. Child, when I tell you I went to sleep and went to sleep good that night, because I knew that my dishes were clean, that I had already cooked my meal for the week. I had prepared, because these are things that I was already conditioned to do already. I had already unpacked most of the stuff that I needed to be, my daughter had to go to school the next day. And so I put her clothes out. We did our bedtime routine, everything that I was doing and trained to do for the last few years of us having to live together. I had already did it. So I didn't have no moment of breaking down and crying. I didn't have any moment of, I went to sleep because I knew the next day what was going to be expected of me. I had to do that shit all again. But this time it would be minus a body in the house who was unwilling to help. And so, go ahead.
No. I was about to. People wanted to hear the video again, so I'm gonna play it one more
Oh, go
time
ahead. Go
for the
ahead.
people that wasn't in here before.
The general diagnosis of the dynamic is that Eliana is sacked with too much authority over what's going on. What did you say? Responsibility. I'm actually going to use another word, authority, that is burdening her and putting you in a tough spot. I think you should try to take the reins more.
Maybe I'm not explaining myself all up in here, or I'm really like trying to allow him the grace and gratitude and latitude to say the things that he's feeling. So you may say that I'm being authoritative. It's not that. It's that when I do try to communicate, when I told him that I didn't want him staying in my house overnight because he was using me as a fucking doormat. How are you going to do this to me and my child? You can't do that to me. That's my house. I could say how I feel, because when you come here, it feels like a tidal wave. And now I'm left to pick up the pieces when you leave. But then,
Can I ask you, well, you're upset. What are you upset about right now? Now, here.
because I don't want to be this way, but
You don't
controlling or authoritative.
Yeah.
I would like for you to see the issues and fucking deal with it. It's just embarrassing.
How so?
Because, like, I don't do things half-ass, and I feel like I'm doing this with someone who's doing everything half-assed. You don't think that, yo, what are you goofy for right now and laugh, G?
Yeah. There's no way you think you put 100% effort into us.
I'm not talking about you and I'm talking about our family as a whole.
But you and I are part of that equation.
Mitch,
You can't do
Mitch,
you can't
I can
do
count
this.
on one hand, bro, how many times you've helped me with law.
You can't. That's
I can count on one hand how many times you show up for me.
okay. So if
This shit is embarrassing.
So if I don't show up for you and you're embarrassed while you're here,
Because I want this shit to work.
so put in effort.
I do put in effort,
No,
bro.
you
Are you
don't.
fucking kidding me?
You don't.
I don't.
Hardly.
Hardly. You're
Hardly.
fucking. I down to your car getting inspected. Do I look out for you, bro? Down to making sure that you have laundry at my. When you do leave shit at my crib, I wash your fucking clothes. If I was a bitch, I would have left that shit out when I did laundry. This shit is embarrassing. I don't do shit half-ass, and every time you show up, I get a phone call. Oh, is he actually helping me this time? Because niggas have seen you sit on your ass, chill on your phone while I am nursing and in a fucking meeting with law on my lap. That is exactly why I got written up at work. Because law was showing up at too many meetings. And where were you? Where were you? Chilling in a room taking a nap because you were fucking tired.
I work.
You work 40 hours like everybody else.
Stop. You don't work. So stop saying like everybody else. You don't work.
Okay, if you don't think being with law 7 days a week,
That's not what I'm
if you
saying.
don't think that that's work, you're bugging.
Stop. You don't think working 40 hours is work. Stop.
I don't.
Stop. Okay.
Because when we
Then-
first met,
then-
when we
then
first
that's the
met,
disconnect we
how many
have.
jobs did I have? I
That's
worked
the-
2 jobs and I went to school.
Comparing again. When you're
something-
comparing, you're diminishing
Dog.
what I'm actually
Mitch
contributing.
and Eliana, stop. What's bothering you about these comparisons?
The comparisons aren't meant to make me better. They're meant to put me down. Even just now, of you.
Can I just say,
Crazy.
I I don't know if I could watch that, because just hearing it again just really it just triggers me so bad. And then just thinking about like how women, they don't get 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. Like most of the times kids are coming in their beds. You know, if you have a young child and you're breastfeeding, you might get like a good 3 to 4, just depending on where they're at, 3 to 4. Then you get interrupted. You got to wake up, feed the baby. Even if you're not breastfeeding, even if you're bottle feeding, you got to get up and warm the milk up and prepare it and all the things. And so, like, to hear him say that she's not doing work is just so.
And then 2 seconds later, he said, "Oh, you trying to diminish my work? You just did that to her. What are you talking about? That's what you did."
Yes.
Like, that was crazy. And then he said, "I'm not saying that. That was literally what you just said. You said you don't work." And then she said, "You think that me taking care of a child," and also she goes to school full time, by the way, but you think
Yes.
me taking care of a child 7 days a week isn't work? That's not what I'm saying. Then what are you saying? Then what are you saying? Because that's crazy. But I brought Mello up here because he said something very some
Oh
would think
Lord. Let
some
me
would
get my
think it was
meme ready.
interesting.
Let
Some
me
would
get
think
my
it was
meme ready.
some would think it was interesting.
That video
Mel,
was very triggering.
what'd you say, Lexi? You said it was
I said
triggering.
that video, it was so triggering because we've all experienced that where a dude is just laughing in your face, but also downplaying all the work that you
All your
do. It's
contributions,
crazy.
yeah. Mello said that her trauma is deeper than him, and she needs to address it. If I'm not, am I? Is that right? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, thanks, public, for bringing me up.
Yeah.
That's listening to her. She has her issues with him, no doubt, in his not performing the way that she feels he should back her up. But if you listen to just her pain and just her words, it goes deeper than just him. She's carrying some more stuff that she has never addressed. And then his issues with what she already is still dealing with unhealed is just compounding her. And this is the effect of having a whole bunch of trauma. And it's just so much now that look at her. She's come falling apart. So she got layers of trauma that she's going to have to address, not just him.
And if that's the case, then her asking him to just step up while she does that, like while she unpacks her trauma, you think that that's asking too much of her husband?
No, I'm not backing up his actions
They're not married.
whatsoever.
They don't even
Oh,
live in
I'm
the same
sorry.
house, apparently.
Go ahead,
But
Mello.
but okay, Mello, I got it. So the thing I'm not understanding is that you don't think out of the two, she's the one that sounds like she had past trauma.
Right.
I'm saying based off of her reactions, off of what he's not doing to her, her trauma stems from him also, but she also has some more deeper trauma, which also has something to do with what she's been through. And maybe he's showing some past behavior or he's continuing.
So let me ask you a question. So what do you think would cause her reaction? What past traumas do you think could cause that reaction out of a person?
It can be
For
maybe, okay, to me, it can be maybe the household she grew up in, what she witnessed.
No, be specific though. No, be specific though. Like what specifically? Like, okay, so I'll make it. All right, let me do it like this. She was upset because one of the things that she was upset with was because he wasn't an active participant in the raising of their child. What trauma is leading to her reacting in that way?
Because maybe her father wasn't an active participant in her life.
Okay, and you think that is something to correct, or is she just justified? Is her reaction somebody not participating in the child rearing in the child rearing duties of their own child? How else do you expect that person to react in that situation?
Public, I expect her to react how she reacts. That's what separates everyone. Some
I'm
people.
saying no. Listen what I'm asking, Mello. Let's say she's all healed up, and let's say what you're saying isn't true. Let's say it's not has anything to do with the past, right? She's all the way healed up now. How should she react to the way that she's being treated by that man?
If you don't like the way someone treats you, public, then you have to eliminate that individual that's putting you in that headspace. You have to. You can't keep that. You can't keep that around. or you're always going to be in that space unless that
But
person
then y'all
changes.
will demonize women for not making their families work and not sticking it out. Like y'all talk out of both sides of your neck, and I'm gonna
Exactly.
tell you what I told you in the comments. Shut the fuck up, cause
Hold
you
on,
always trying to
hold
blame
on,
somebody for some bullshit.
hold on, y'all. Hold on.
See, here's the issue. We only know partial by what we're hearing.
Yeah,
So
let's not. But that Mello, exactly. So let's not do the whole she has some past baggage. That's why she's reacting like that. Let's just look at it for what it is, right?
Can
Because
I ask a question? I'm
go ahead,
sorry.
Lexi. Go ahead, Lexi.
So he laughed in her face when she was expressing herself. At what point does like past drama, if
What
someone's
that got
laughing
to
in
do
my
with
face,
that?
past drama has nothing to do with someone disrespecting me while I'm actively unloading what you've done to me.
I think she had.
And
You know
it's like
what?
anything, they do anything to negate what the man did. It's like, again, the laziness and the cult of men. This dude is laughing in her face, and the first thing you think of is, well, she got trauma. He is her trauma.
I will say that I think she handled that pretty well. If I'm crying and somebody laughs in my face, man, I don't know if I can continue to have a conversation without I'm flipping over a table. You know what I'm saying? Like
Facts.
that's crazy. That's crazy. I am upset at something you did to me. You hurt me. You disrespected me.
And
I'm
then not to
crying
mention his
and you
trauma.
laugh? Oh no. Yeah.
He was
That's
talking about how
crazy.
his father wasn't in his life, so he's not going to be in his son's life till his son is 12. Let's talk about his trauma. Let's talk about the fact how he laughed in her face, like you said earlier, Pub. That's
Oh,
not humane.
the guy said that? That dude in that
Yes,
video?
this
In
is the second video. In the first video, because it's two videos for them. I saw their videos. In the first video, they were talking about his participation in his kid's life. And he brought up his trauma, how his father wasn't in his life. So he feels that in order to be a man, that's how fatherhood is, where she would do all the work up until that baby is 12.
and look
Like,
and look at what we just discovered. I thought it sounded like he was the one that had all the
so this
trauma.
is the point that she's up to now, which you laugh in my face after you just told me you don't think that you need to be a father until he's 12, and I'm not supposed to react like that. That's crazy.
It looked to me it was abundantly clear that he was the one that had the trauma. His
All the
reaction,
trauma.
his coldness, his gaslighting, that's all of that was indicative of a
And
person.
she's not wanting it to work for him and her. He's still the father. So she's still trying to work it out so that she doesn't become one of those statistics where the mother never wants the father. And no, she's trying to make it work for the son.
And he hit her
But
with
this
the
is his
stupid
reaction.
and he hit her with
Yeah.
the stupid ass so why are you still here? Nigga, cause we
Yeah.
got a kid together, cause I love you, because like you really want me to leave, but then when she leave, he gonna be like, I don't know why she left. See?
Facts.
Selfish. Like,
But now it's
Public.
she got trauma and she needs to work out her trauma. He is her trauma. And it leads back to men's laziness because men aren't raised to emotionally regulate. Like we very much coddle men's emotions when they're, especially in religion. It's always about the boy and we got to make sure the boy is okay and he can't clean and he can't cook. That's a woman's job. So now we're raised with these emotional lazy men who whose ego are in the way and pride is in the way. So that's a dangerous combination.
I think staying for
I
the
saw
kids
this
is abusive, by the way. I think if you stand for the kids,
a
that's a
hundred
form of
percent,
abuse
a hundred
because the
percent.
kids see it
Because
and you
if I would have stayed with my kid's father, I have two kids. They're grown now. But if I would have stayed with my kid's father, the way he treated me, and I was too young to. This was 20 years ago. I didn't have all this gaslight, all this verbiage. I couldn't even articulate about his laziness. I just thought it was me failing.
yeah.
So if I would have stayed with my kid's
Damn.
father, my kids would have turned out complete. Like my son would have been. Oh my god! Like my son would have been the most like lazy, toxic, like cheater, and he wouldn't have seen anything wrong with it.
No doubt about it.
And it's I find it like enraging to hear men like Mello come on here talking about she has drama that she needs to check on. This boy laughed in her face
Like as if you need to have some past trauma to cry
to
because a
react like that,
motherfucker
right?
laughed in your face.
Right.
Like, come on,
Because
Mello.
again, men aren't raised emotionally stable, so to them they think that that's an extreme reaction.
You didn't think go I'm gonna let you go, okay? I just want to ask Mello this question. You didn't think that her reaction was fair considering the circumstances?
Public, there's no such thing as a fair. Her reaction was her reaction. My whole point is we didn't really bring up him and his side of it. He has his own childhood trauma that he deals with in his way. So he needs to be there also, unpacking whatever it was that he's doing.
Then why didn't you start with that?
Because we heard more of her emotional reaction and his non-emotional reaction. But I would
his
say
reaction, what, sir? I'm sorry.
I mean, it was non-emotional to the point where he laughed instead of him. He didn't really verbalize nearly as much as what she did throughout that whole thing. That's why I'm glad she said there's a part 2, because I want to listen to it in its totality, instead of just a snippet. We're
So
basing
he
this
can
off
blame
of
her better. So he can blame her better.
a snippet. No, I don't
Exactly.
blame it. I don't blame anyone for
You
Trump.
You don't blame that man for laughing in her face. You
I
don't
said
blame
I
that
don't
man for not
blame
showing up for his baby.
Public. I said I don't blame anyone for trauma. People deals with their trauma the way they deal with it. They unpack it or they hold on to it the way they hold on to it. So you got to unpack your own trauma the way you best see fit. That's all I'm sitting there saying. I could sit there and say, something you did last month bothered me, but I held on to it and I held on to it. And now this month I heard something else that reminded me of what you said last month. So now I'm breaking down because I held on to all this unpacked trauma. That's all I'm saying.
No, but no. That's abuse though.
It is.
You see what
Trauma,
I'm saying? I think you're conflating the two. So if a person is abusing you and you end up breaking down because of the abuse, that's not your fault that you're breaking down because the person is abusing you. You're just being abused. You're a victim. I think you see what I'm saying? Like
Anything to uphold the cult of men. Anything. They say anything.
you don't think that's crazy? Like
Hang on. Let me clarify her so she won't get me twisted. I've been through this. Like I told you story. Public. You know how I actually get down. I got custody of my kids. I understand what keeping kids in a toxic household does. So I understand all of that. So lady, you don't know me from a can of paint. So don't make it seem like it is what it isn't. I understand the ramifications.
I don't know you, sir,
through trauma.
but I can only go by what you're saying, and what you're saying is the same as all the other toxic masculinity. I'm not saying you're a bad man. All I'm saying is I can only go by what you're saying, and you immediately blame the woman for her reaction from being abused, pretty much.
What
From
did
his
I
laziness.
hold on.
What was the most? Wait, Mello. I gotta ask you a question.
What did I blame her for?
You said you are blaming her. You're blaming her trauma, her past trauma. By the way, you're just assuming. You're blaming her reaction on her past trauma as opposed to blaming it on the way that man is abusing her. You see what I'm saying? First and foremost. Secondly, I want to ask you, out of that exchange, when did she disrespect him?
Facts.
She never disrespected him publicly.
Okay, now wait. Hold on. Wait. No. Wait. So she never disrespected him. In that exchange, how many times did he disrespect her?
Facts.
He rebuttal. How's rebuttal?
My God.
See?
The laughing.
Oh my God.
The cult of men. The cult of men. See, anything.
Bro. Hold
Anything.
on, Mello. Hold on,
Public.
Mello.
Okay, let him have
Hang on.
When he laughed at her, that wasn't disrespectful, brother?
Public. Listen to me. Everyone deals with their form of trauma different. There's somebody on here right now that you can tell something too traumatic and they will laugh because that's how they deal with trauma. That's how they deal with traumatic situations.
Mello, you have told me to my face.
And this is a woman.
You have told me to my face. A lot of y'all tell me to my face that I don't validate men's experiences. You too. You've told me that a million times, right? Okay. Now, in that exchange, the man and the woman, that man had. Now I ain't never abused none of y'all, by the way. So, when y'all say that to me, cool. In this exchange, though, this man had abused her. The woman started crying because it was frustrating, right? She was frustrated, so she cries. He laughed at her,
and then told her she don't work and she don't do nothing.
Like, sir, that's not disrespectful. That wasn't disrespectful to laugh. Sir, if you cry and I laugh, is that disrespectful? That's all I want to know. If you cry, if you cry for any reason, let alone something that I did to you, a reaction to something that I did to you, but for any reason, and I laugh at you, is that not disrespectful? That's all I want to know.
Public, I will tell you this much. It's disrespectful if that's uncharacteristic of me. But if every time
What?
you see me go through a situation, instead of crying or instead of getting upset, you see me like a lot of people laugh when they get nervous. A lot of people laugh when they're put in a situation where they should break down, and they'll laugh. I know
That's
people like
true.
that.
Anything.
That's
Anything.
true. But
I know people like
in
that.
that situation, that's not what was happening. Did you
He was
do we
Everybody
antagonizing
has
her.
their own interpretation of how they
Sir,
view that
Puppet, get the
situation.
He thought I was
caps. Get the
disrespecting him
caps,
just whenever he
Public.
had to explain himself to me, and we're just having a conversation.
This
he
is
was
crazy.
Where the
antagonizing
hats
Hold
at?
on,
her.
Where
y'all.
the
One
hats?
at a time. Hold on, y'all. One at a time. Go ahead,
Everyone
Kay.
views
Wait,
things
wait. Hold on,
differently.
Mello. Wait. Go ahead, Kay.
He was clearly antagonizing her because it was the
Facts.
follow-up words after he laughed that was dismissive. So the intent of the laughing was also dismissive because it was like ha ha ha, like I mean you're being dramatic, like you don't really do anything, you don't work, you don't, huh?
You know
So
why
if
he
the
laughed at her? You know why he laughed at her, Kay? He said, he said, you you don't put 100%.
yeah, he said
That's
you
what
don't
he.
put
That's what he was.
100% into us, into our relationship. That's what she said.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Then she listed all the things that she did, and he had nothing to say
He couldn't say
except
nothing
for, "Well, you don't do
because
nothing."
Lexi. I'm sitting there waiting for him to rebuttal. Like, but I do.
Right.
It wasn't none of that. It was okay.
He
Got
didn't
me
have
there.
nothing.
He had nothing. He pivoted and said, "You don't work."
And
What?
when she said she got written up because she had to, have
Right.
Exactly.
her baby on camera for the meetings because he was in the other room sleeping. He won't even get the baby while she's trying to work to save her livelihood. He's a
Right.
fucking sociopath. But let me restart because
That
I
was
I ca-
crazy.
I came in a little spicy. Mellow had me a little spicy. So when I unmuted, I lost it. Okay, so initially,
You
hey
good?
twin,
What's
we'll
up?
start there. Um, strumming my pain with his fingers. Okay, that's all I keep hearing. Why you up here in my business? Oh my god, like it was it was so very triggering because I remember the time when I had Zoom therapy with my therapist and that man child, and he did the same thing. He kind of chuckled. He was trying to gaslight me. He was trying to gaslight the therapist. But the thing was, the therapist is trained. Like, you can't fucking gaslight no
Yeah.
therapist. So the therapist saw right through the bullshit. And when she called him to the carpet, he said, well, Kayla. And she said, well, this isn't about Kayla. This is about y'all, your daughter. This is what we're focused on. Do you want a healthy co-parenting relationship or not? Essentially. That nigga did everything but what he was supposed to do in that conversation. And then he ghosted me and the therapist and
Of
never
course.
did another session. So because he wanted to escape accountability. The long story that's short is, in essence, kind of what you said your wife does for you. We will lay out
Appreciate you,
you
Diana.
we will put out the water, we will put ice in the water, we'll put the bowl out, and we'll just say, hey, come
Hey,
drink.
Black Kitty.
We got everything set up, just come drink. And men will constantly move the goalposts because they're not ready to do the work. They're
Mm-hmm.
not ready to overcome their trauma. Because you speaking to me, and you were talking about the tone policing thing earlier, you speaking to me in a way reminds me of my mama. Or reminds me of the way my daddy used to talk to me. Or I don't like when people talk to me like that. And if you want me to hear you, you need to talk to me with some respect. You need to talk to me better. And here's the thing, we can wrap it in cotton candy or it can be wrapped in shit, but it's still going to be the same thing.
Mm.
Okay? Like it's not going to change it. So you have helped me, and this is to you, twin.
Mm.
You have helped me to realize and stand in my power of it's never been about what I say or how I say it, because the message is still the message. Because my intent, and this is what I had to tell Phil, I said, if my intent is love, if my intent wasn't love, if my intent wasn't wanting the best for you, I wouldn't say shit. Because you know what? I ain't got to be here, nigga. I ain't got to help you unpack shit. I can get the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a courtesy that I'm willing to stick it out and stay in the mud with you and help you unpack. I don't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
This is purely benevolence. So I want you to understand that my dedication to you is not just my dedication to you, but it's to myself to say, this is the better that I deserve. I know it's in there. I know it's inside of you. And I'm going to work until you give it to me. Now, in the
Yep.
moment I get tired of trying to help you work on it, baby, I'm finna dip. Like, real shit. I'm not staying for no kids. I'm not staying for no family. JP, shut up. Talking about something not too much on feel. But I'm just saying because and y'all, not for nothing. I love this man down, okay? But the lazy, the do something for a few days, the do something for a week consistently and then fall off, that's him.
Mm.
So he need to be in here. And I told him, I said, I sent you that lie. You need to listen. And he said, well, I'm kind of focused on this right now, clean that damn bathroom. I said, you want to be single, nigga? You better turn that bitch on and turn it up loud, okay? Because what I've realized is that men will receive stuff from other men. Like, I can feel the same thing 5 times. Public come say some shit, he act like he just got a revelation.
Nah, it's not. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all something though. That's how I be. It's like that. Don't no doubt. They don't want to hear it from Nate, but it's also just when you in it, it's too personal, right? It's too personal. You feel like Kay just attacking me. Kay just attacking me. She just attacking me. She always like that's her. That's her. That's her. It's when you can take a step back and then you observe it, like you watching two people have the exchange, or you just listening to somebody talk about it. They don't know you. They ain't got no dog in the fight. They not saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? You like why would this person be lying to me? You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have no reason. There's no benefit in it for this person to be out here telling me this right now or saying this or whatever, other than if it wasn't his personal experiences or whatever, his personal observations or whatever.
Facts.
That I think is something that is we need to take take into account because people that's just like a human thing. You know what I'm saying? Like men and women do that shit. Y'all get online and you might be thinking you like you were saying I stand in my truth now because 2-3 months ago you was thinking maybe it was you. Maybe I don't need to be this
I
solid.
sure the
Maybe.
fuck was, friend, but you helped me. You helped me to realize. But then at the same time, this is why I have the patience because I realized that even though I did my personal work in therapy,
Mm-hmm.
my work within a relationship, I never knew or understood a healthy dynamic of that because I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Like my mom is the biggest fucking pick me on this side of the
Mm,
of the Nixon, the Mason Dixon line.
yeah.
Okay. Like, and my daddy is the biggest fucking douchebag sociopath.
Yeah.
So, and then on the flip side, his parents are amazing, married for 40 something years.
Mm,
But what I resolved was, you know what? I ain't finna do this for 44 years. I ain't
hell
gonna do
no.
this right here for 44 years. So I'm willing because I know there are certain things like my internalized misogyny that I still have to unpack that towards. Mom, yes, ma'am. He's back today. Your daddy back today? Yeah, my dad.
Aw.
Okay, go help him. Okay, go help him. Go help him put the bottles up. So yeah, it's been a winding road for me because again, coming out of such a toxic relationship and it's night and day, but it's the consistency for me. Like that's what's gonna forever be. And I'm like I stand on the principle and I stand on business when I say that principle gonna trump it every time, man. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what be losing it for me because I'm like, okay, if you can be consistent with the gym, if you can be consistent with weight loss, like why can't you be consistent with the things that make us work and make us function?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Hit
saying? Like
hit that
that's
relationship like you hit that gym, nigga.
hit right.
Hit
Hey,
them dishes. Hit them dishes like you be hitting them weights.
that part. I am Kristen Barra. Yes, we still, he still, they still. but
um,
it's the progression. It's the I need rainbow candy too. You want rainbow candy?
Aw.
Ask Daddy for rainbow candy. I did. Okay, but let him. Hold on. You have to let him get baby brother situated, and then say,
Yeah,
"Excuse me,
start
Dad.
Can I
asking
go
them for
Have
after
shit.
rainbow
Kay?
candy
Can I go
now."
after Kay? Because I still wanted to hit the prompt.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah.
I'm gonna get back to
So
let's go ahead.
it's the actions that speak louder than words. And again, I'm not gonna keep putting the water out, putting the bowl out, and saying go drink.
It's facts.
So yeah.
Go ahead, Lexi, and then we gonna spin the block on Mello because I know he wanted to say something.
Yeah, I lost my thoughts because of Melody. He got me a little hot, but because I have a bunch of notes. So about the prompt, a man's laziness will destroy. I think that it goes back to again what I was saying earlier, where boys are coddled emotionally, so when they grow up, they don't know how to emotionally regulate. So when us as women are hitting them with, why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? It's like they literally don't know how to even they don't even know how to like compute it in their minds because they're like, well, you're supposed to do that for me. So then it's like their whole reality gets blown up a little bit because it's just like, well, women's supposed to do this. Man's supposed to do that. And then they call it nagging because they simply don't want to hear it. So I don't even know what the solution is for that because again, with like religion and patriarchy and everything, like the boys are still being coddled emotionally and they're growing up into these like either emotionally explosive or like emotionally robotic.
Yeah,
And that doesn't compute for relationships. It just doesn't. And then it's on the onus of the women to try and quote unquote fix that. And it's just like, we, and again, women are raised to like bear all of it. We're supposed to bear all of it. And it's like expected of us, like, but we're tired. I saw a video earlier. This African man was saying, don't you find it funny how our parents stayed together, but you're seeing all these young women divorcing? And then the African lady stitched it in was just like, yeah, because we're not putting up with your laziness. We're not putting up with your abuse. We're done. I'm 41 and like, we're always called bitter and old because we're not letting our young women be treated that way. We're breaking that cycle and the men are losing their minds. It's not that the past generation was better. It's just they put up with it.
they
And
definitely weren't better. I'm,
we're not putting up with it anymore. We're just not like my daughter was telling me she had a conversation with her friend yesterday where her friend has a boyfriend and she was just like, I'm really not feeling him. I think I'm gonna break up with him. And they all key heat about it. And she was just, I'm like, you don't understand how emotionally mature that is. Cause I was like, back in my day, I couldn't say that to a man and he just accepted. He would be like, why? You're supposed to say you're supposed to. No. These girls they're not having it these days. They're not having the laziness. Again, they're not having the abuse. And it could be something as simple as like, he makes me uncomfortable. And that's enough. And
yeah,
that
that's
should have
enough.
always been enough.
Yeah, hundred
That
percent.
should have, but again, even as women, we're trained in misogyny to just put up with it. And we're just not doing it anymore.
Yep.
So it was just like, even earlier with Sai, I'm sorry for her, what she was going through. But I'm proud of her for standing 10 toes down and saying, I'm not my mom. I'm not my grandmother. And I'm not going to deal with it. So I'm proud of her and I'm proud of because she said she was 20. So I'm like, I'm so proud of our younger generation where it's just like they are not dealing with the toxicity anymore. And a man's laziness is dangerous because it can be weaponized. It definitely
Facts.
can be weaponized where you're wearing this woman down because you simply won't even throw a sock in the laundry. And then you're gaslighting her saying, it's not that big of a deal. Why can't you just do it with a baby on her hip and one in the belly?
Oh
And he's
yeah,
sitting drinking a beer. You know what I mean? Like laziness definitely, and it's not that even it'll destroy your relationship. It's dangerous,
yeah. It
and
messes with the health and everything of the women. Yep.
it feeds into your job because again, my baby father was just like, I'm gonna get a job. He'd keep one for 3 weeks, and then that'll be it. It's that laziness. It spreads. It's the inconsistency. I mean, I kicked him out. I mean, I haven't spoken to him in like 20 years. It's been a minute, but
Yeah.
anyways, like, it's the laziness that bleeds into anything else, and then it's like, as a man, like, aren't you embarrassed that you always have to ask somebody for this? You always have to ask somebody for that. Your girl is in your ear, and then when you go talk to your homeboys, they co-signing that shit. Oh,
Yeah.
that's her tripping. That's her tripping, not you. And
They
they all sitting on
protectors
their
though,
asses. Yes, right. And they're
and
leaders, right.
providers.
Yep.
Right. What are you leading? Her into the ground.
And they also
That's
be the
that
one.
laziness.
They also be the ones that'll say the stuff like Mello saying, which is like, man, she
Yes,
got to unpack all that shit, man. She got problems. Like what? Nah,
exactly.
bro. She's well within
Exactly.
her right. Like my thing is like, even if you got trauma, like past trauma, like most of us got past trauma, right? But like, you don't have to do things that trigger my trauma, because it's
Facts.
you know what I'm saying. Like, it's not like the things that she was bringing up about that man were like insignificant or inconsequential. They were like
Right.
very much things that affect you on a daily, and it's like, you know what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to,
Right.
So yeah, we got
But
past
we're
trauma.
expected to settle for that. We're expected to settle as women. We're expected to be like, oh, it's okay. I got to deal with my shit and I'll deal with your shit too. Like,
Yep,
we're expected just to be like, oh, I'll just take it.
that's where they
Like Kay
get
was
that.
saying earlier, like I don't know if it was Kay. Somebody else was like, if I got to wash laundry for the rest of my life, that's just what I'm going to do. Like, we're expected to do that.
Yeah, you already got to do that. But so, Megan said using daddy issues as an insult, as if anyone brought that on themselves. Exactly. But also, the
Facts.
craziest thing is them using daddy issues as an insult, and then in the next sentence talking about the reason why they're not good at being fathers or husbands because they never saw it. Nigga, that's daddy
Facts.
issues. Like,
Right. They
Facts.
that's
don't be whole
And that's
time.
not
They don't be
that's
having no
not even a
fucking
flex they
daddy.
think it is, because that's the men then. That's still not on us because the man left.
But
yeah.
hold on, whole time your daddy ain't want you. Whole
Facts.
time,
But
whole time
hey,
your
hey,
daddy
public,
told your
wait a
mama to
minute.
go to the clinic. Wait, whole time your daddy knocking your mama head between the washer and the dryer. The
Facts.
whole time your daddy ain't want you in the first fucking place. So let's heavy on the daddy issues.
Facts.
Yeah, them is daddy issues. Go
The
ahead,
dude in
Mello.
the video has a daddy issue. He
No,
said
for
his
sure.
father left.
Yeah, for sure. Go
You
ahead,
you
Mello.
can call it daddy issues, or you can
Oh
call it
boy.
lack of daddy issues, because most boys learn from example, and if he doesn't have that example present,
No, they
then yes,
don't. No, they don't. Most boys don't
you
learn by example. They
hang on.
don't.
You learn how to become a young man by example of what you're
What?
seeing a man, how he conducts
No.
himself.
That is a
Even hang
lie.
on, check,
That's
check,
a
hold on,
lie, Mello.
Because my son
public.
is just
Hold
fine.
on, y'all. Wait.
Listen, hang on, listen to me. Because even if you're just around your mother, you're watching her, how she deals with stuff, how she handles stuff, how she talks. You're learning from her.
Okay,
So
that's why
just
it's a lie, because the women are look, Mello. Listen to what you're
so
saying.
you'll also
Go
learn
ahead.
from your father how to conduct himself as he does being a man. But if he's not there, you don't have that example how to
What
conduct
is the
yourself.
difference? That
There's a
listen to what?
difference
Listen to
between.
what? No, it's not a
Hang on. All
difference.
right.
That's an
If
excuse that men use. There's no difference, right?
public.
Listen, hold on,
Okay.
hold on,
Okay.
hold on,
Okay.
hold on.
Okay.
What is the difference, Mello? You're saying the mothers are empathetic. Here's my proof. Here's my proof. You give me yours. You say boys learn from seeing their dads, which I don't know why their dads, why it has to be their dad. That is misogynistic as fuck. Why does it have to be the dad? Why can't it just be a person? So I don't buy into that, because they learn all types of other shit from their moms. So why can't they learn how to be empathetic like their mom is? Because their mom is empathetic. Their mom practiced empathy with them. But then for somehow, some way, when it comes to the men, when these boys grow up to be young men and men, now we don't know how to be empathetic. So I don't want to hear that we learn through example. We don't. We don't. Men are conditioned by the things that other men say, not by the things that other men do. The majority of the time, we are conditioned by the things that other men say, not by the things that you actually see exhibited in society. For the most part, you could be a very sensitive, you could be a very empathetic young boy, 13, 14, 15 years old. You get around some other 13, 14, 15-year-old boys, and they start talking about you being too sensitive. They start talking about don't nobody want no crybaby, don't nobody. All of a sudden now you're not empathetic. All those years of your mama raising you to be an empathetic, sensitive young boy are being undone in the fucking locker room, being undone on the school bus on the way to school. So I don't want to fucking hear that, boy, we need to see these examples. We don't. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. I promise you that's not what it is. We are indoctrinated. We are indoctrinated through words. We are indoctrinated through words, through movies, through music, through all of these things. And also, the biggest part of the indoctrination is you have to couple the indoctrination with the benefits in society. So when the men see, right? When the men when the men see, okay, me being this way gets me this, right? And also me being this way is easier for me than being that way. Than me being empathetic is easier for me to not give a fuck, right? It's easier for me to do that. And there's no penalty in society. You're telling me I could still get rich. I could still get a lot of have access to a lot of women. I could still drive fancy cars. I could still why am I going to be empathetic? Like that is what's going on. So it's not like, please don't come up here talking about men. It's a lack of daddy issues. It is 100% daddy issues, right? That are perpetuated by the misogynistic culture that we have in our country. Your daddy not being there, but your mama being there. You don't listen to your mama, but you needed a daddy. What the fuck does that tell you? Listen to what you're saying, Mello. You can't listen to your mama. Your mama's not a good enough example for you. Your mama's not. The person that's caring for you the most, the person that's been the most empathetic, gave you the most grace, bent over backwards for you, all of these things. And as she should, by the way, because all parents should do that for their kids. Is not to, it's bare minimum as far as I'm concerned from the parents aspect. But for the child, this is what you've seen from your mother. Now you're a young man. Was your mama a cheater? No. Was your mama an abuser? No. But somehow, some way, they end up not following the mom's lead, and they follow the father's lead. And then men will come up here and say stuff like, "Well, they didn't have a daddy." So fucking what? So what? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? My mama wasn't the best at everything, but I know one thing: my mama never cheated on no man she was ever with. I know that for a fact. My mama was not a cheater. That is not who she was. But I didn't clock that. All it took for me was for my brother to tell me, "You gonna be a cheater one day." No, I'm not.
But even when the fathers are there, they're the worst example of fatherhood.
Also, but I don't even want to do. I'm saying in a I'm giving them the grace. I'm saying you don't even have to push back. I'm saying, Lexi, when they say stuff like that, I don't even push back on the type of man, because we don't. Cool, he's the best daddy who fucking cares? Right. Why are you ignoring the fact that you got a whole mama in the house that is giving you all the tools to be a good person? You just bypass all of that because you didn't have a daddy, nigga. That's an excuse. That's not a valid reason, bro. That's a cop out. That's not a valid reason. So you can't say that she potentially had daddy. This woman, let's say, she got daddy issues, but this man don't. This man that just laughed in that. This man that don't know how to treat this. He got daddy issues. He got daddy issues. And y'all be saying a lot of times, the thing that make me pissed off low key is when I be hearing a lot of people be talking about, oh, they got issues with their mommy. They got mommy wounds. It's really not. It's really daddy issues. Almost every time when you think about it, it's really father ish. Like you feel like your mom treated you a certain way, and not to. Hey man, moms be fucking up too, right? People be fucking up. People aren't perfect. This is not absolving them of that shit. But a lot of y'all be acting like y'all mommies was monsters. They'll let y'all tell it. A lot of y'all be acting like y'all mommies was monsters in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And whole time your daddy's abused you, your daddy's abandoned you, which is abuse. But your daddy abandoned you and all of that stuff, and he don't catch no smoke.
None.
So I'm like, how the fuck is it a daddy issue? I mean, how the fuck is it a mommy issue when your daddy was the one who abandoned? Like, I'm not understanding. Go ahead, Mello.
Can you hear me, public?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just so happened I had to grab my son. He's sitting right next to me. Now, if you're in a household and you just kind of hit it on the head, so I don't have to expound into that. Not every set of parents are healthy. So if you got a father that abandoned you and you got a ratchet mom that got a mouth and she don't teach you the right fundamentals of how to deal with people, then most likely you're going to follow that example that's sitting in front of you. So yeah, not everybody was blessed with having a healthy set of parents, even if both of them are inside the household. Sometimes you got a ratchet mom and you got a ratchet dad. And that's how you end up turning out that way, because all you were exposed to is toxicity.
In all
So,
honesty, I
so
got a homie. Go ahead, Mello.
So the right examples that you have around you do play a part in how you end up turning out as an adolescent into becoming a young person. So be it if you have an unhealthy single mom or an unhealthy single dad or an absent single dad or whatever, you got to have one healthy parent, and I do mean healthy mentally and emotionally, in that house for you to be able to turn out or start down the path that way and not exposed to a toxic person.
And that's usually the mother. Even if she doesn't do everything perfectly to a T, it's usually the mom. She's the one that's doing the labor, the in and out of taking care of the children, making sure that they get to school, that they're being provided for financially. They have to
It's
go
so
out their
confusing.
way to make sure that the dads are at least contributing financially. And they barely want to do that half the time.
This is so interesting. I'm just not
Because it's
able.
like name your son's doctor, name your son's shoe size. You know what I mean? It's like all these
Yeah.
little details that moms have to do mentally, and it goes back to men's laziness, mentally lazy, emotionally lazy. What's your son's doctor's name? What's your son's best friend's name? If your daughter goes to ballet, what's the ballet school name? When did they get inoculated? What's their favorite food? What are they allergic to?
It's the
Right.
These are
entitled.
all this is all
The
the stuff we have to do.
the entitlement breeds laziness, right? Just so we're clear, because I
Yes.
always view lazy as a symptom. Lazy isn't a real thing; it's a symptom of something else. It's never the cause of anything. But yeah, the entitlement breeds the laziness. But yeah, man, that Mellow, I'm not understanding, because I got a homie who I remember him telling me that about his mom. He was like, "Oh, my mom, I always see her yelling. She would always be yelling at my dad and da 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 da." And I would be having a conversation with him. He told me this for years. He just had all of this disdain for his mom. And I was like, "Well, what did your dad do?" Like, because I'm like, my wife ain't just yelling at me fucking for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that there aren't any women in the world who don't do that, but I'm just saying, like, generally speaking, how you just described a quote unquote ratchet woman, I'm like, okay, she don't know how to control her mouth. That's the stuff men always say. Sir, what woman is out here it don't even make sense for women to be out here just yelling at men like that. At some point, I'm like, their safety is in concerned. It has to come into play. So women aren't conditioned to be out here just like yelling at men and being disrespectful. But there are some women who will turn the fuck up on a man if he's being disrespectful. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not understanding, like why are we acting like when a woman turns up or when a woman yells or whatever the case may be, it's because she don't know how to control her mouth. But in reality, it's because she was disrespected and she just was reacting to the disrespect. I'm not one to tell people how to react to disrespect. I'm not in that. That's not how I get down necessarily. Like, I say it as a general rule of thumb, if you're feeling disrespected, just try not to let people control your emotions. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you've been disrespected. Don't mean you gotta react to them. Cool. I know we all know that as adults. Blah 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 blah. But beyond that, if you want to turn the fuck up on somebody for being disrespectful, who am I to tell you to not turn? Who am I to call you ratchet? Who am I to say you don't know how to watch your mouth? Like, who am I to say that when this person was disrespecting you? Now, if a person, for an example, if this man, if she went to work for 8 hours and she comes home and this nigga still sitting in the same place that he left her in, that she left him in, and she start yelling at this nigga, I mean, god damn, that's understandable. What am I supposed to say? Oh, you shouldn't be. She don't know how to control her mouth. Maybe I wouldn't do that, but is that understandable? Absolutely. If she is on a Zoom call with her fucking job 4 or 5 days in a row and she stuck with the baby on her boob and your ass in the room not participating, you laying down because you work 40 hours a week, and she come out that fucking meeting and start yelling at your ass, am I gonna be mad? Am I gonna blame her and say she don't know how to watch her mouth? No. That I understand that. And that be the shit that be blowing my mind, how men be really trying to gaslight us into believing that women just don't know how to talk to us. Just in general, for no fucking reason, these women don't know how to watch, quote unquote, watch their mouths. Like, that doesn't, I haven't ran into that many women that I can put in that category. I really haven't. I haven't, if any, I'll be honest with you, if any, but I'm going to leave room for maybe one or two in my whole life. But like, every woman I know, some of them turn up and some of them never turn up, right?
And not
But
for
when,
public,
But
not
public,
for
check this
nothing.
out. Oh, go ahead, Kay. I'm sorry.
Oh
Go
no, I
ahead.
was saying not for nothing. If she said it nicely, and if she tried to explain
we
and
ain't got to go
rephrase
through all of that.
stuff
You already know what
five
it
That's
is.
times,
what I was about to say.
but I'm
The
just
build up
saying,
be crazy. The build up was crazy, and I ain't even saying that. I'm saying
right?
the first time I understand. Do you see what I'm saying? How many times do you got to be disrespected? Do you got to be disrespected 10 times, 5 times, 2 times, or can you just get disrespected one time and turn the fuck up? Like, I'm not going to tone. Who am I to fucking tone police? That's crazy. That's crazy.
But
That's crazy. I don't
She should have
understand that.
turned
but
up in that video.
what we're
She
saying
did a little bit.
what what we're saying usually is the case is that most of the time when we bring a certain topic or problem or issue that happen within the family that we feel like needs to be corrected, usually we are talking in a way that is favorable for most men. It's never where we're starting off turning up. Unless it was like a dire or like a danger present, usually we are talking in a calm tone. It's the like, you know, like when you have kids and you tell your kids, pick that toy up off the floor or get your shoes out the middle of the floor.
Yeah.
They'll say, "Yeah, I'll pick it up," or
Hey,
"I'll
thanks for
get
coming
it."
up,
Yes,
Lexi.
mommy, I'll do it. And then you come back round maybe 2 minutes later, and it's still there. Listen, I told you that this is in the middle of the floor. Can you get it up? Yes, mommy, I'll get it up. I guess my question is, before we get labeled as being disrespectful or not considerate of how we're presenting the issue, how many times
No
does
worries.
a
Come up anytime.
person how many times does a person have to say that there is an issue present? I see it. I want to alert you of what I see to see if you see it
I
so
don't get
that
it.
we can resolve the issue.
It's like
How
that's just
often?
but that's just that's a tactic. It's like you can never get upset. See, she needs to watch her mouth. Da 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 da. Because niggas' egos is so fucking fragile. You can't take no woman yelling at you. You can't take a woman maybe calling you out your name and all, when God knows. When Lord knows y'all be talking to these women side, like, come on, man, y'all know, like that's the thing that be pissing me off about this shit. I'm sitting there going, men, of all the people on the face of the planet to be critiquing how somebody is talking to somebody, you talking about the group of people that don't know how to talk to fucking a rock. You talking to the group of people that talking about they would rather tell the tree they problems. Yeah, nigga, because you don't know how to communicate. You talking to the group of people that fucking can't read past the shit. Niggas is illiterate half the time. Men be straight up illiterate half the time talking about women don't know how to communicate. Sir, you come up on my lives and ask me to explain my prompts to you every single fucking day. Every single day. Like, make it make sense. Y'all don't know how to communicate. So when y'all be acting like the women are the ones, and this is in general, this is not, of course, there are women who don't know how to communicate. I know some, right? But here's the funny thing. The women that I know that don't know how to communicate are in a relationship with the man, and also the man don't know how to communicate. I don't know one woman in a relationship with a man that can't communicate, but the man also, but the man knows how to communicate. I don't know one relationship that looks like that. But flip that shit around. I know 50 fucking relationships where the women know how to communicate and the men have no fucking clue. Like, so at best, I got neither one of those motherfuckers know how to communicate. At best. At best. But the majority of the time, the women know how to communicate. Hey, if she don't know how to communicate, maybe she don't know how to communicate up to my standards, right? But she's a far better communicator than he is, than the man in the relationship. The man because the men be lying a lot of time. They're masking a lot. It's hard to communicate when you're masking. It really is. It's hard to communicate. It's hard to have an open channel of communication when you have to uphold some lie that you started 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. because you can't really say things the way that you want to say them. You can't really give them all that information. You can't, because you're masking. So now the lack of communication becomes very, very, very much a problem, because you got to hold on. You got to hold all of these secrets. You can't really tell them why you're really reacting that way. You can't. You know what I'm saying? You're upset. You're walking around the house, and I make this joke, but it's real. You're walking around the house and you're soaking and you're mad because you just spent an hour on IG scrolling, looking at IG baddies. Now you upset because you don't have access to an IG baddie, and you taking it out on your girl. You don't know what the fuck. You can't even put your finger on it sometimes, but sometimes you can. And the reason why I say that is because I actually had a man tell me that. That's not what happened with me. I had a man tell me that's how he feels. He literally said, I have to stay off of the internet because I get too upset. I get too upset. I get too upset. That's what he said. He said it just makes me mad.
And he
And I was
doesn't
like,
even know that emotion is envy. He doesn't have the vocabulary for that.
yeah,
That's what it is. He's
he
envious.
he's not envy. Ocean, he's
Well,
mad that he doesn't have access to the women. He's not envious of it. Well, he might be envious of some people, I'm
that
sure, but it's really just he's like, I want access to these women. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't even, he don't know the men. He ain't looking at no men like, oh, how did he get her? It's not that. I guess that would be just envious in general, I guess, but he's
that's
not
what I'm
really
saying.
envious of any man. Yeah. But he's just
No,
like,
that's
I
what I'm
don't have
saying.
access to these women or whatever the case may be. I literally heard a man tell me that. That was like something I didn't know that was a thing until he said that. And I was like, that actually would explain a lot of stuff that you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, wow, it's entitlement, exactly.
But
It
that
would,
is envy whenever you're coveting something that somebody else has. The woman is she has her own body, and because he can't have her, he envies the fact that he can't have her.
mm,
So that's what that means. So that's what I mean. It's not that somebody else has her. She has herself. And that's the reason why a lot of these men hate that women are taking back their own autonomy, because they're supposed to, the entitlement tells them that they're supposed to be able to have access to us. That's why they would touch us whenever they felt like it. They felt like they had the right to invade our bodily autonomy whenever they felt like it. So
for
that's
real.
where the envy is coming from, because they're even jealous of women for taking
For doing OnlyFans. They be mad at women for
for
doing
for
OnlyFans. Like,
whatever women do that makes them, that makes them shine, that makes them stand out, and then it doesn't have anything to do with them. Yeah, this conversation is very triggering for me, but go
See,
off.
that right there pisses me off, because it's like the same people who are jealous of the people who puts in the labor, puts in the effort to, achieve or reach whatever goal that they want, be the same people who don't put in the energy where it's necessary. I've stumbled across people in my life who will not, for the life of them, revise their resumes. They will, for the life of them, not do the paperwork to get like extra education if they are able to do so. They won't do it. They simply won't do it. But be upset with women who obtain the higher roles in I don't know, like in supervisory roles that they probably wanted to go out for. But you ain't even revised your resume. How do you think do you think just because you got that extra piece in between your legs that that's what's supposed to like get you in the door and into those positions? You don't
sometimes,
even,
yeah.
but they don't do the work. But they be mad at the people who do the work. It's just
Hey, I'm gonna let Ocean go
oh
real
my
quick.
bad.
No,
I'm
you
gonna
good.
drop.
And I gotta go
Oh,
to
I
Ray
had I
Purse.
had something to share. I had something else to
No, I'm
share.
saying I want you to go, and I want Ray
Oh,
Purse
okay,
to go
okay,
because
okay,
I got
okay.
to end the live soon. I gotta go to work. But
Oh,
go
okay,
ahead.
cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so
Thanks, Allie.
this again, this is so triggering for me, because the first time I didn't even know that this was misogyny. The first time I realized that misogyny was a real thing was when I was probably about 12. And I didn't grow up with my dad, but I always knew my dad. He lived across town. He had two other children after me by another woman. And when I would go stay with my dad, I had a brother. He and I were 6 months apart. I was 6 months older than my brother. And I remember one day asking my dad, Dad, how come he can stay out longer than me? Because I had to come in at like 7 or something before dark or whatever. But my brother, he could be out all night long. And I didn't understand because I didn't really understand this kind of thinking. I didn't live in a house with him. So I'm sitting up here asking and I have a younger sister. So I'm sitting up here questioning my dad, like, why can he stay out longer, but I'm older? Like, why is it okay for him? And instead of my dad telling me, hey, it's for your protection, anything can happen to you outside, you're a girl, I just want to protect you, whatever the case, whatever his thoughts were about that. But because I was questioning him, do you know my dad slapped the dog piss out of me for
Damn.
questioning him?
Damn.
And it was crazy because my sister, who was maybe 3 years younger than me, she knew that I shouldn't have been questioning him. She was like, no, sis, almost like how on Color Purple when they was talking about some Celie, no. When with the knife, my sister was in the background talking about some, sis, don't quit, don't say nothing else, because she already knew what he was gonna do to me. I had no idea. I'm still, because at that time I was still very vocal. I still was, just still curious and just had, um, an inquisitive mind. I just really was unsure. So anyway, asking him that and him slapping me, that was the last time I went over to his house for a long time. After
Mm.
that, me and my daddy relationship was never the same.
Because
Never
he
the
never reconciled it either. He
He
never.
never reconciled that. He never reconciled it. He never acknowledged that he did anything
Mm.
wrong. And even if he did, it was so to the point where I was still to blame.
Yeah.
I still was to blame for how I behaved instead of him saying, you my baby girl, I want to protect you, it's for your protection. None of those things to make me feel as though he wanted to be a protector like
Mm-hmm.
they claim men are. I didn't get none of that feeling of being protected. All I saw was, this is unfair.
Mm.
This don't make sense to me. So, with all of that said, this is very crazy to me how if it really feels like all of us women are living the exact same lived experience. A bulk of us are living the exact same experience because everything that they're saying is the same BS that I've gone through with men, the same thing I've gone through in multiple relationships. As a matter of fact, my last relationship, I had to tell my ex, I feel like I'm going through the same thing I went, and he was a considered quote unquote nice guy, but because he was so emotionally unavailable and didn't realize I needed his emotional labor in the relationship and even his physical labor in the household, I'm sitting up here asking him to do things, and it's kind of like you're having to pull teeth. And you can say it nice in so many different ways, but then after a while, I'm gonna have problems. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
a little off kilter because I feel like I'm talking to a fucking brick wall.
That's facts. Hey.
Because what they'll do is they'll say, they'll act like it's the weaponizing competency. That's
Mm-hmm.
what it is. That's what it is. I didn't know that that's what it was, but that was what it was.
Yeah. That's usually what it is at the end of the day. Um. Ray Purse, go ahead. Hey, Ocean, I appreciate you coming up. I got it. Like, I really got to get out of here though, so I'm gonna
Take
let her
care,
go, and
public.
then no problem. And I'm gonna let Mello go at the end because I know you want to say something. Go ahead, Ray Purse.
All right, I'm here. I don't think you should say that name, even though I'm sorry that that is my name, because I don't want
Oh,
to
okay.
catch a lie, but whatever. You could just say Hurts. But
Okay, cool. I got
thank
you.
you for
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah, because yeah, you're right. Okay, got
yeah.
you.
So I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to change that soon. But
You good?
so I just kind of want to understand if there is a man up here aside from you, because you do seem to be very emotionally intelligent. What's with this whole your mouth is slick thing? I just never understood why men, I think that's like a cop out to say, that you shouldn't be talking to me or addressing me with certain things. Because I'm a communicator. I love to communicate. And for those who are into astrology, my sun and my Mercury are in the eighth house. So I love to communicate. I love to deep dive. I do have emotional intelligence. I know how to treat people. And I got into a relationship with a guy a few years ago who was like pursuing me for a whole year. And I just was not going. I didn't want to be bothered with him. I just didn't feel like being bothered. And I just started dating in the past 4 years. And for me having my experiences with men, it just really seems like they number one are most definitely mentally and emotionally lazy. They don't want to do the work. They want you to do all of it. But my thing is, when I got into this relationship with this guy, he was very, very grandiose, like very narcissistic, very entitled and things like that. I'll say traits. And what I noticed is anytime I would bring up an issue about something that he would do and I would try to talk to him, he would say I was yelling at him. And I do
Yeah.
know that I can be direct, but I'm not a loud person. Like I don't even like to talk. So it's just amazing to me how a person can try to make you feel like you're doing something wrong just because you're trying to like have a good relationship. Just try to communicate with them, try to talk to them. And we got into so many arguments with me just simply telling him something that he did, and he knew he was doing this stuff on purpose. And then he would hear me, and then like weeks later he'll go back and be like, well, everything that you said was right, but I just wasn't in the space to hear it, and your mouth is kind of slick, so the way that you said it. And I'm like, I've had so many men say that I have a slick mouth, and I don't understand where that comes from. So I just wanted to know, if a man could explain, like for real, like through the bullshit, why in the hell do you feel like women's mouths are slick? As if I'm a goddamn kid. I'm grown as hell.
Um, the reason why I believe they say that is just a way to tone police you and to control you. So it's the same thing they say, like you're nagging. It's in the same vein. It's just it's in the same thing, right? And then you now you're not focused on the issue. Now it's let's focus on the tone, right? Not the problem. Now we done argue for an hour about how slick your mouth is, and we done talk 5 minutes about you not helping fucking clean up in the house or you neglecting me or whatever the case may be. We've been arguing for an hour and a half, and in an hour and a half we done talked about the real fucking issue for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and we done talked about how I made you feel or how you made him feel because of your tone. That's all it is. That's really all it is. So it's just a gaslighting tactic. it's not
And
it's
and it's
not a it's not a real thing. It's not something for women to be concerned about. To me, like I don't think women should adjust that at all. Personally, I don't think that's what it is. Like anybody that's like thinking that it's like, oh well, that's me and maybe that's just me and yet no. That's he just saying that more than likely to control the woman, and so that's why I always talk about men need to not be giving advice to women. I think that's a part of it. It's like
yeah,
you're not. That's not what it is, because it doesn't matter how a woman talks to a man. I've had I've been talked to. My wife has been gentle. My wife has been, belligerent. My wife has yelled at me. She has whispered. She has um, told me when we weren't fighting. She's told me when we were fighting. She's texted me. She's written me a letter. Like in all the forms, in all the ways that you can communicate with the person, my wife has communicated with me or attempted to, and it didn't matter how she did that. The only thing that mattered was I wasn't ready to receive the message. So it didn't matter how she communicated to me, and that's what I'm saying. And also, it's like, why not allow a person the grace to turn up if you are being disrespectful, if you aren't listening to them? You know what I mean? Like that's why I'm like, no
yeah.
matter what, like yeah, me and my wife
But
are having this.
it's also crazy how when you say things to men, they will turn around and act like you're attacking them. And
That's not
that's what you
crazy.
say to me.
That's
That
not
is
crazy.
listen,
Mm-mm.
as a person that just started dating 4 years ago,
Mm-mm.
like I understand my life, okay? And so even though I'm 35, the name of my channel, it is what it is. I'm a very big advocate for women going through those types of things, or my page. And that's the reason why I didn't date for years. And so when I did get out here and start to date, I could not believe, some people will try to make you feel like you're attracting these types of men, but people don't actually
Mm-mm.
give the credit to the fact that men are like this overall. So now you're victim blaming. You're making me feel bad about having these experiences with men when I know that I'm a great communicator. I know that I'm a great person, as far as listening. Not a
Mm.
great person, but I'm
I know
saying
what you
like
mean.
I
You have
I
the
know I know how
tools
to
to
talk to men.
communicate. Yeah.
Yeah, and so people like really men made me feel like Jada Hush. Men made me feel like I did not know how to be in a relationship because if they did something wrong to me, I didn't start screaming, I didn't start nagging. I actually thought about it, introspection, what could I have done? And then I actually went back and I spoke to them and pulled them to the side. Hey, when you said this or when you did this, it did not make me feel good. And I wanted to acknowledge this because I don't like feeling like this and I like you. And the response that I would get, it was so unbelievable that I just was like, you know what? It's time to play with these niggas and leave them alone. Like I can't do nothing else. I don't have time for it. But yeah,
That's
that's
fair.
all I wanted to say. But thank you for letting me know.
Okay, Hertz, I appreciate you. Go ahead, Mello. Before I got to dip like a chip. Mello, you there or no? You was just hearing me. I don't know how you. All right, well, whatever. Yeah, it's work time. I gotta go. Good live, y'all. Good live. Fun times. Run for president. Hell no. Follow Club. Hey, shout out to all the mods, man. Best mods in the business. Shout out to all the new subs, all the old subs, everybody that banged the cash out. Wasn't